Hello and welcome to another episode of the Tip Balls Podcast. I am your host, Sam Randazzo. And joining us now, it's not a duck, it's a beer. Is my my rather seaworthy co-host,
Arr! Good evening.
Uncle Sam.
Good evening, everybody.
It's not evening, it's 2:07.
Good evening.
It's not even fucking 3 o'clock.
Okay.
We're early today. We're early. Behind the, whatever he's doing over there. Waxing his own dolphin. It's Bruce the Tugboat Venditti.
Smacking his own dolphin.
That's it.
Fucking raping his own dolphin.
Unfortunately for all of you, you only get us today because Zolo is still on his way back from Los Angeles. He was at the game yesterday, so Wednesday, Zolo will be back.
God, I can't even fathom what him coming back is going to be like.
Zolo will be back Wednesday with his 5 things and a full in-depth recap of the game from SoFi. But we couldn't let a Monday go by without you guys hearing from us. We have a lot to talk about today, quite a bit. There's a lot of games this weekend. Good handful of dumpster fires, that's to say the least.
Oh, yeah.
Last minute turnaround.
And our
Yeah.
President Baker has just checked in.
President Baker is here. He is with us again
He's
today.
here.
How's your week? How's your week been so far?
It was great. I watched a lot of football.
Okay. So without
Watched a lot of college ball, too. I'm into it.
well, what did you see from college ball? Michigan got a big win, eh?
Anyway, that was a joke anyway.
Didn't even
Listen to
throw
me.
the ball.
Listen to me.
baby.
Penn State hasn't been good.
They didn't throw the ball the entire second half.
They did not throw the ball. I think they threw it once, no?
Did you see
They
Blake
did
Corum?
they did not complete a pass the entire second half.
No,
you
but
see
they
the
did attempt
picture of
one in the
Blake
second
Corum?
half. One.
Yeah, Blake
But
Corum
anyway,
looked like he got
it didn't matter
ass kicked.
anyway. They were going to win that game. James Franklin is absolutely fucking useless. He really is. And I'm not a pro-Michigan guy by any means, so don't think I'm sticking up for Michigan at all because, you know what? They had more trouble than they should have had with Penn State. They should have ran through them like nothing.
Well, okay, outside of outside of watching football, how was your weekend?
I was pretty good. Pretty good.
Any pits, peaks? Did you eat anything good? Did you
Well, I had told you your Aunt Lauren made gnocchis. Oh my God. Those were so good.
How did those hit?
I ate so many, dude, that I thought I was gonna fucking implode. And I was so sick the next day, and guess what? I woke up and I wanted to eat some more.
Just wanted to keep pounding gnocchi?
Yes, pounding gnocchis because we had the sausage and the peppers going, and I was all in, dude. All in. And I don't think I've ever been that full and since last Thanksgiving.
Really?
Yes.
Really? Wow.
And now we're getting ready. There's a lot of birds running through my yard right now, and I need to get me one for Thanksgiving.
Are you going to shoot and kill your own turkey this
Oh,
year?
I'm not going to shoot it. I'm going to kill it with my hands.
Just gonna
Barehanded
choke
with a
that fucker
knife.
out?
You guys are fucking laughing right now. You'll see when I jump on that fucker and cut his head off, and I'm going to get pictures of it, and I'm going to give it to everybody.
Okay. So
I go to every home game, Leon. Okay, so
I'm
I
sorry?
am stepped up.
Leon came into the chat and he said that we should go to New Orleans
New Orleans.
for the Detroit-New Orleans
The
game.
fuck do I want to go to New Orleans for? Mardi Gras? All it is full of syphilis. Bunch of guys like Leon running around there trying to look at titties. That's all it is. Terrible. Terrible.
Bruce, how was your weekend?
Pretty slow. Played Call of Duty pretty much all weekend.
Elizabeth's here.
So
Hello,
not bad.
Elizabeth.
Elizabeth asked who made the gnocchis.
My wife
I
did.
think she just heard us talking. She got in there
My-
while we were
my wife
making
made
gnocchi. Yeah.
Oh yeah, listen. My wife can cook. She can cook like a motherfucker. She's a really good cook. I'm telling you.
What I'm talking about.
I wouldn't be fucking 260 pounds if she couldn't cook.
Amen.
The fuck.
Amen. Dan's in the chat. When are we talking about how big Dan Campbell's balls are? Dan
You know
Campbell's
what?
hold on. Dan Campbell's testicles, because I know you have thoughts about the defense, and we're going to get into that. And we're going to talk about it even more depth on Wednesday. But If I do have to say, Dan Campbell has balls the size of church bells.
Big as church bells.
Yes.
He does. He
And,
does.
I mean, my God.
You know what? I like Dan Campbell. I really do. I think he's a great motivator. Outside that, he's pretty fucking useless, to be honest with you.
We can get into that. I
Okay.
don't want you to give too much away. Cousin Steven's in the chat. Need an Uncle Sam, David Montgomery versus Jahmyr Gibbs breakdown in this episode. We will get to that. Okay?
Okay.
But first we've got to do the news.
Let's do the news.
Let's do the news. All right, the biggest piece of news so far out of the NFL today, the Patriots have cut standout cornerback Jack Jones. They didn't really give much of an explanation. They just said they're cutting him. So, Jack Jones, obviously a pretty serviceable guy. He's only in his second season. He was a third season. He was a fourth-round pick, and he has stood out at times. Would that be somebody that if you were the Detroit Lions, you would toss a waiver claim out there, go fishing, see if you get him?
No.
It wouldn't. Why?
I don't
'Cause
want.
I know you're unhappy with the defense, right?
I don't want anybody from the Patriots defense. Nobody.
I want anybody from the
you
Patriots.
There was only one guy I would take off their fucking defense, and he's on IR.
Marcus Jones.
Huh?
Oh, Matthew Judon.
Thank you. He's the only guy I would want on this team.
Panthers have designated cornerback J.C. Horn and tight end Ian Thomas to return from injured reserve. So
Interesting.
interesting. That helps out a team that's pretty down in the dumps right now.
They need J.C. Horn. They need
Yes,
him.
they do.
They
Bad.
need him bad.
It's come out that 7 teams contacted the Denver. What the fuck was that?
PC noises, man.
Okay. 7 teams contacted the Denver Broncos about Patrick Surtain's availability before the trade deadline. 3 teams made quote unquote serious offers, but Denver never considered dealing him no matter the price. That's interesting to me.
No, they're smart.
Well, yeah, but
Smart for that.
If you're going to go through the full rebuild, if you're going to go,
No, I truly believe they're not in full rebuild. I don't. They were in full rebuild right now, Russell Wilson would not be on the team.
I'd
let's
have to agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Alexander Mattinson was diagnosed with a concussion during yesterday's game, and the Vikings have made a corresponding move, re-signing Myles Gaskin to the practice squad.
Interesting.
That one is interesting. If Mattinson does not play this week, you got to think Ty Chandler came in yesterday and had, a decent couple of carries, but
Yeah.
Myles Gaskin.
Listen to me, and I'm going to say this and say it one time. Everybody better watch out for my man Josh Dobbs.
We're going to talk about that.
Josh Dobbs is amazing.
We're going to talk about that.
Great guy.
But Myles Gaskin could have the Donta Foreman effect if he gets the right amount of carries there.
Maybe. He's not Dante Foreman.
The Dolphins have opened up the practice window for running back Devin A-Chain to return from IR, and it is looking like he will play Sunday versus the Raiders.
Huh.
So, Tyler, if you are out there, I apologize in advance because you Raheem Mostert owners are in for...
The Raiders are so shitty on defense, that'd be the perfect game for him to have his little comeback.
Yeah, and realistically,
Yeah.
you could get 30-point games out of A-Chan and
Mostert.
Yeah.
And Wilson.
So make that trade.
Outside of that, there was actually 5 teams yesterday that converted game-winning field goals. Arizona, Cleveland, Detroit, Houston, and Seattle. That is the most game-winning scores with no time left in regulation in a single week in NFL history.
Okay.
So, a lot of close games yesterday. And honest to God, I'm not going to lie. The games all went one of 2 ways yesterday. It was an absolute fucking dud of a game, or it was great right down to the end. There was nothing in between.
The only game I seen that was god-awful yesterday was the Dallas Cowboy New York Giant game. Danny DeVito has
We're going to talk about that.
no business.
Giving too much away right now.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Giving too much away. Falcons quarterback Taylor Heineke injured his hamstring yesterday. He is now day-to-day, and Desmond Ridder has been moved back up to QB1 on the depth chart. Any thoughts? You know, they were playing Ridder in and out with Heineke before Heineke actually went down.
Correct. I've seen them doing that a few times, and
I know.
I don't even know what to think about it anymore at this point. I would say that he's so desperate right now that he's just trying anything. I'm talking about the coach.
Linebacker Quan Alexander tore his Achilles yesterday.
done.
He will be out the rest of the year.
Yeah.
Outside of that, I think we've pretty much covered the news. It's a Monday, so all the news pertains to the games.
Interesting.
Are you ready to recap?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
All right. We are starting off at Deutsche Bank Stadium in Frankfurt, Germany.
Deutsche Bank.
Deutsch.
Doink. Doink Bank.
Doink Bank.
The Indianapolis Colts played the New England Patriots in an absolute fucking shootout air raid of a game. The Colts come out on top in this one 10-6. Bill Belichick.
I will say this. I don't know what happened to Mac Jones at the end of the game. When Belichick, I don't know if Bill Belichick punched him in the nuts, but he was crying at the end of the game. So I don't know what transpired on the sidelines. So
Robert Kraft did an interview before this game. And honestly, if you can go find it on Twitter, it's totally worth the watch. He made things sound extremely bleak in that interview. They were talking about how this is his 30th anniversary of owning the team. And he left a lot of people coming out of that interview thinking that essentially this is the end of the line for Belichick and we're not going to fire him midseason out of respect. So, with that being said,
so you think Belichick's gone at the end of the year?
I think Belichick is going to be gone at the end of the year. I think it's the right move. I think it's time for the organization to head in a different direction. We're in a different era of NFL now. I don't think the Patriot way of old works. I don't think the players conform to it. It's not conducive for today's NFL. As we have just seen in Las Vegas, and as we as Lions fans have watched for 3 years prior to the Dan Campbell era. The Patriot way does not work outside of New England in that 20-year span they had the dynasty. Guys went there, they saw what Brady could do, they saw how the organization worked, and they saw it was essentially a guarantee that you were going to come out of there with a Super Bowl ring once every 3 years.
We don't need that up there. Get that.
Need what?
He doesn't want that.
I want to see the chat. I don't want to see that.
So what we've learned is the Patriot way doesn't work. I think Belichick's way of doing things is archaic. Players don't want to be there anymore. And I think that Robert Kraft is in touch with that and realizes that it's probably time Belichick goes wayward. That's fine. I think what Belichick showed us yesterday is he no longer has any sort of trust in Mac Jones running this offense. I don't think we will see Mac Jones as QB1 the rest of the way. I think it's going to be Bailey Zappi now because in all reality, whatever Bailey Zappi goes out there and does, it can't be worse than Mac Jones.
Yeah, Mac Jones was pretty fucking god-awful yesterday. And I will say, you know what? Gardner Minshew wasn't any better. He was dog shit too, missing wide open receivers.
I agree with that. So, shockingly, Mac Jones actually had a better QBR coming out of this one than Gardner Minshew.
Right.
High points for either of these teams. Jonathan Taylor, 23 for 69 and the lone touchdown.
Right.
Ramondre Stevenson, 20 for 88. Zeke Elliott, 13 for 54. On the ground,
they look good.
They didn't look bad yesterday. Yeah. They didn't look bad. If they could have just ran the ball the whole time.
You know what? I don't know what happened with Mac Jones, but he was missing.
He was missing people. He
was awful.
You want to know what's bad?
The only quarterback that I seen more awful than Mac Jones was Danny DeVito.
You want to know what's bad about this? He only threw 20 passes and he completed 15 of them. Those five passes that he missed were so fucking bad that that's what stands out to you. And here's the thing. At the end of the day, Mac Jones is just not competent enough to run
Gardner
this
Minshew
offense.
wasn't any better.
I agree.
He
but
was fucking overthrowing receiver after
Here's the
receiver,
thing.
and I was just like, what the actual fuck is going on here?
Gardner Minshew is not quarterback 1 for the New England Patriots. Gardner
I know.
Minshew is quarterback 2 for the Colts.
I get that, but he was awful too.
You expect that out of Gardner Minshew.
Listen, I actually thought Jones played better than Gardner Minshew did.
He did. But
Yeah.
the offense is so stagnant with Mac Jones.
They got lucky. They got lucky at the end. They pulled it out. They kicked their little field goal and won it.
You want to know what's messed up? Zach Moss, who was taking the league by storm to start off the year, got 1 carry in
What happened
yesterday's
to
game.
him?
Jonathan Taylor.
What's going on there?
Jonathan Taylor has taken back his spot as number 1.
Well, they should. I mean, what the fuck?
Yeah, but Moss
you're
was-
paying this guy, what, $18 million a year? You better fucking get your use out of him.
Zach Moss was so effective, though, that
He was. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm kind of surprised that they weren't splitting carries. I'm really, really surprised on that.
I agree 1,000%. I'm shocked they weren't.
Or at least let him play the third down role or
Right,
something.
something.
Man.
Give
What
the guy
fuck,
something because
you know?
he is pretty talented.
Yeah.
Um,
And he didn't do shit while he was in Buffalo, so I kind of get it.
quick little sidecar here before we move on to the next game. Saints coach Dennis Allen says Derek Carr remains in the concussion protocol. Michael Thomas and Marshawn Lattimore are both day-to-day because both suffered fairly significant injuries. So Michael Thomas, Marshawn Lattimore.
Yeah, but Michael Thomas got some off-the-field issues going on, too. So.
That's true.
yeah.
But they're calling those injuries significant.
Okay.
That leads me to believe you can pretty much scratch Lattimore
Well,
and Michael
whoever
Thomas.
has Chris Olave, get ready because it's going to be the Chris Olave show with slinging Jameis Winston, who will throw for fucking 20 touchdowns and 40 interceptions this year.
I think it's going to be kind of hard to
30-30.
I think it's going to be hard to get Derek Carr out there this weekend too.
Yeah, I don't think so. If he's got a concussion right now, it would be kind of hard to do.
Yeah, if you haven't heard on the Michael Thomas news, he threw a brick through a contractor who's doing work across the street from his house. He threw a brick through the guy's window because he didn't like where his car was parked and was subsequently arrested. That was Friday night, but he did play this Sunday, so that's going to be a situation to monitor. And now that he's injured, realistically, he's probably going to pay a fine, get out of it, and then not play because he's hurt. Because Michael Thomas can never make it through a full season without stubbing his toe.
Yeah.
Next up, the Houston Texans headed up to Cincinnati to play the Bengals in what I thought was one of the best games of the weekend.
I thought it was the best game of the weekend.
Can I ask you this straight up?
Yeah.
I know he's a rookie,
Yep.
and I know he's essentially a lock for Offensive Rookie of the Year at this point.
He should be.
And I know that the team is only 5-4. Is CJ Stroud right now an MVP candidate?
NFL MVP candidate?
NFL MVP.
I would say yes.
It's really hard.
Who's played better than he has?
I don't know.
Seriously,
That's
who?
the thing. It's
Name
really,
one guy that's been better than him. Tua? No. Brock Purdy? No. You name one guy that's been
Jared Goff.
Jared Goff.
Jared
is what I
Goff?
was gonna say.
Maybe Jared
I was gonna
Goff.
say.
I mean, outside Jared Goff, who else has better numbers than him?
Christian McCaffrey.
He didn't get his touchdown this week.
Yeah, he missed. I
The
know.
streak is
The
broken.
week I trade for him, he doesn't get a touchdown. But CJ Stroud out of this game, 23 for 39 and 356 yards as the Houston Texans beat the Cincinnati Bengals 30-27 in a game that came right down to the wire. Joe Burrow, 27 for 40, 347 yards of his own, 2 tuds, 2 picks. I'm going to say this right now. CJ Stroud is doing more with less than any fucking quarterback that I've seen in recent memory, outside of Tom Brady in the Patriot years. He is putting this together right now. Stop. He's putting together an MVP caliber season. And if you can tell me another quarterback outside of Brady who put together an MVP caliber season with a receiving group that's this ragtag, you let me know.
Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers had Devontae Adams. CJ
Yeah,
Stroud
but he
is
didn't
doing
have
this.
Devontae Adams the whole time he was there.
CJ Stroud is doing this with Noah Brown, Dalton Schultz, Tank Dell, John Mechie,
Tank Dell
and
is
Robert Woods.
bad, man.
Tank Dell is an absolute fucking madman.
Thank God I made that trade.
Great guy. I mean, he is showing out right now.
Dalton Schultz. Look
Dalton
what he's
Schultz
done.
is having a good game. So here's some receiving
Which we
stat
knew
lines.
Dalton Schultz was a good tight end when he's with Dallas.
Yeah.
It's just he's got a quarterback that actually fucking looks for him now.
Noah Brown, 7 for 172 yards. Dalton Schultz, 4 for
That's 2 weeks
71.
in a row Noah Brown
Has gone ballistic. Yeah.
really fucking showed what he can do. And mind you, the whole time Dak Prescott was hurt in Dallas, Noah Brown was absolutely tearing it up.
Yes, he was.
With what's his name? That kid from Central.
Cooper Rush.
Cooper Rush. That's who all Cooper Rush looked for was Noah Brown. And the guy can play. The guy can play football.
Tank Dell, 6 for 56 and a touchdown. On the ground, though, we got to give a shout out here to Devin Singletary. 30 rushes for 150 yards and a touchdown. That's 5 yards per carry against a Cincinnati defense that's usually pretty good against the run.
Yeah.
Granted, they lost. They had injuries going into this game, and more guys got injured in this game. But Devin Singletary, I mean,
He's to back up to
he's got to be making a name for himself while Dameon Pierce is out, because Dameon Pierce has been pretty ineffective all year.
Yeah.
So as far as the Bengals go, we thought this could be a Big Joe Mixon game.
You know what? I think that Houston is, everybody talks about the Detroit Lions being ahead of schedule.
Oh,
With the way they're
Houston's
playing.
way
I think
ahead of
Houston is way ahead of schedule. I don't think anybody expected them. Listen, I don't think anybody expected them to win 2 games this year.
I had them winning 4 games
Yeah.
all year.
Yeah. And they've already proved that they're going to be better than that.
And we'll get to this. We'll get to this game here in a moment, but this is what you've got to watch out for now.
Yeah.
They're 5-4. Jacksonville 6-3.
And just got embarrassed.
And got fucking embarrassed. So now you're dealing with a Houston team where CJ Stroud's playing out of his mind. Jacksonville is 1 game ahead of them. And this game mattered more than that.
Yeah.
Because guess what? To start out the day yesterday, every NFC North team was in the playoffs, right? Pittsburgh, Cleveland, and Cincinnati owned all the wild card spots. Now, Cincinnati's on the outside looking in. Houston took that last wild card spot after this win yesterday. So,
They had the tiebreaker.
and now they have the tie. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
There it is. So now Houston jumps Buffalo, Cincy, Indy into that last playoff spot.
Right.
So, I mean, I'm not guaranteeing.
And you know what?
that.
Hey, they're right there for the division too. I wouldn't
They're 1
count
game
them
back
out.
for the division. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not guaranteeing that Houston's going to be a playoff team right now, but my God, they look like they could beat
they're
just about
there.
anybody.
They're right there.
Jamar Chase came into this game with a back injury, very questionable. He
It
ended up
didn't matter.
He ended up with 124 and a touchdown, and he
They
didn't.
could barely run.
And he didn't look that great. Tyler Boyd, 8 for 117. And our boy, certified fan of the show, and Uncle Sam's guaranteed anytime touchdown scorer,
My new best friend.
Trenton Irwin, baby. 2 receptions,
There's for you,
54
Trenton.
yards, and a touchdown. Pour one out for Trenton Irwin.
The little white dude.
Little
Thank
white
you.
dude. Little white. Did you know he's not that little?
No, he's probably taller than I am by at least fucking 4 or 5 inches.
He's 6'3", so he's got about a foot on you.
There you go. You got a foot on me, buddy.
The little white dude is actually
Little white
not all
dude.
that little. Yeah, 6'3", 215. So not that little.
That's all right. I got about 40 pounds on you, buddy.
But I did have a big touchdown yesterday to start things off. You want to know something? We talk about this a lot when we're breaking down these games. In my opinion, this is way more of a reflection of how good the Houston Texans can be versus how bad the Bengals are.
I agree with that.
On
I don't think it was anything that. Listen, Burrow had a couple of picks late, tip balls that got picked off.
Tip ball.
He was trying to put it into some. I
Tight
still think Joe
holes.
Burrow is the best quarterback in the NFL, bar none.
Trying to put it in some
And
tight holes.
Stroud, I will say this, and I've been
Stroud boys.
animate about how
I'll do it for
good he
Zolo.
was next to everybody else.
I'll do it for Zolo. Stroud boys.
Yeah,
out here.
I mean, I told everybody he would be the best quarterback coming in out of this last class. I told everybody that before he even played. I knew he would be better than these other guys because he was the most NFL ready that can make all the throws.
You did call that one. You did call.
All the throws. I told everybody this kid is very good. I watched him torch the Georgia defense, which is like torching an NFL defense. So
You also
it
think
makes
Kenny Pickett
sense.
was the most NFL ready.
What's that?
Cam in the chat, he came in and said the dude turned Noah Brown and Tank Dell into good receivers. I mean, my God, he did. That's what I'm saying. He took this ragtag group.
Yes, he's
and
got a
just made them
ragtag
look
group that's
great.
overachieving right now.
Oh
It's
my
him.
God.
It's Stroud. Listen, and shout out to that offensive line. Them
Yeah.
guys are fucking protecting him, man.
holding
They've
up.
kept him up. He hasn't been fucking smacked around that much. I mean, it could be worse. He could be Sam Howell getting fucking sacked fucking 8 times a game.
So, little piece of news from this. Bengals pass rusher Trey Hendrickson, who left yesterday's game with a apparent knee injury.
Yeah, I know.
The
Another one of my guys.
The MRI came back. It is just a hyperextension. Expect him to miss about 2 weeks. So he is not going to be.
Okay.
It's nothing serious. He could play this week. They're trying to figure out what grade of a hyperextension it's going to be.
Right.
And Steven just made a good point. D'Amico might steal Coach of the Year from Dan Campbell. I'll be honest with you.
Absolutely not.
Well, no, hold on. If this team, all right, you got to figure there's 7 games left, right? If this team wins 5 of the next 7, and they end up being a 10-win Houston team when everybody expected them.
Oh,
to
you
be
got to get
a
D'Amico
3 or
Ryans
4-win
Coach of the Year.
team. D'Amico Ryans could make outside of the Lions taking the 1 seed. D'Amico Ryans, it is wide open for him to.
No,
win
I
Coach
agree
of the
with
Year
that.
right now.
Nothing against Detroit, nothing against Dan Campbell. I don't mean anything against that. I think he's done a great job with less.
Also, sidecar.
7-2.
Could you tell me right now who the betting favorite is to win Comeback Player of the Year?
Comeback player of the year.
You know, Breece Hall missed a lot of time last year. He
Yeah.
came back.
Yeah.
Do you know who the betting favorite is right now to
No, I
win
don't.
Comeback Player of
No,
the
I
Year? Any ideas? Any suggestions?
No, I don't.
Guys who had big injuries last year?
Dak Prescott.
No, not Dak.
Yeah.
NFC or AFC?
AFC.
AFC.
Yep. Any guesses? I see the wheels turning.
Yes, I do have one.
Go ahead.
Comeback player of the year.
Yep.
When Aaron Rodgers comes back and takes the New York Jets to the Super Bowl.
No, but you're in the right division now.
Okay.
You're in the right division.
Ooh.
Having
Tua Tagovailoa.
no, that's a great one. That's what I assumed would be it.
Okay.
But no, it's not him. Having played only 18 snaps on the year, Bill's safety, DeMar Hamlin,
Oh,
is currently the betting favorite for Comeback Player of the Year.
Are you fucking tongue pumping me right now?
Angie just came
What
in the comments and
fuck?
said Henry Ruggs.
What's the absolute
Henry Ruggs would
fuck?
probably be a better pick.
Why? He don't even play.
He's played 18 snaps on the year, and he is currently the betting favorite.
I just said he doesn't fucking play. How can he be comeback player of the year if you don't play?
because he's back.
Give me a break. Give me a fucking break. Wake
Oh,
up,
that'll
NFL.
hit absolutely. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes
Are
so
they
much
sure
sense.
it's him?
man. He
Are they
died.
sure it's him?
We don't know.
I heard he died.
Body double.
I don't know.
I'm saying
Angie
he died
said.
resurrected.
Angie said the little white dude that could, in reference to our new favorite player, Trenton Irwin. So
Hey.
shout out to Trenton Irwin.
Hey, you guys are all talking shit. I told you guys.
Nobody's
pick him up
talking
this
shit.
week.
Angie picked him up in 3 leagues
Yes.
and fucking flexed it.
Yes.
Because of you.
I told him.
Because of you. It's insanity because
I don't
9
even
times
know
out of
how I
10
thought of this. I'm gonna be God honest with you right now. I do not know why he popped into my head.
He has
I must
no
have
idea
some
what
kind
the
of
fuck he is talking about.
I got like fucking ESPN.
No idea what he's talking about. And he's wrong 9 times out of 10. But thankfully, Angie, you picked the one time he was right. What did you know what? Jack actually hit us with something. He said if you throw enough piles of shit at the wall, eventually one will stick. In reference to Trenton Irwin.
Whatever.
Anyway,
He's still mad because he thought I took his linebacker.
moving on. The New Orleans Saints.
Okay.
headed up to Minnesota to play the Vikings.
Okay.
New Orleans still sitting at first in the NFC South at 5-5. Minnesota staying in stride kind of with the Lions here for second in the NFC North. Derek Carr goes out injured in this game, and Minnesota wins 27-19 on the backs of Joshua Dobbs. Bruce
for
still
real,
has,
dude.
Bruce still has his eyebrows. It was
That's because we didn't get enough fucking people in. What the hell?
We'll
Maybe
we'll
we
get
got
there.
100.
What the
We'll
fuck?
get there. Minnesota comes out on top in this one. Some highlights from this game. Obviously, Minnesota lost Alex Mattinson as well. Ty Chandler came in. He had 15 rushes for 45 yards and a touchdown. Josh Dobbs, 23 for 34, 268 and a touchdown. And then he also ran one in, 8 for 44 on the ground with a touchdown. Derek Carr started out the game 13 for 18 with 110 yards. Jameis Winston came in, 13 completions on 25 attempts, 122 yards, 2 touchdowns, and of course, 2 interceptions. Because does Jameis Winston throw a touchdown without throwing an interception?
No.
No.
Never.
30 for
30, baby.
30 for 30. Alvin Kamara, 9 for 42 on the ground. He also had 7 for
Being
33
underused.
in the air.
They don't use them enough.
Chris Olave had his first really decent game of the year.
That's
6
'cause
for
Jameis
94
Winston-
and a
That's
touchdown.
because Jameis Winston was letting it fly. That's why.
Jameis Winston came out there and did what Jameis Winston.
Letting it fly. That's what he does.
Can we have a serious conversation about this? I know you're big on Josh Dobbs, but did the Vikings really win this game, or did the Saints really help?
No, I think the Vikings really won this game, dude. Listen, the Saints have a good defense. And Josh Dobbs, he did what he had to do, fucking pull this game out. So you got to, you know what?
This game,
and he's doing it without his number one receiver.
but
He's gone.
We need to talk about something here. Minnesota was up at one point in this game in the third quarter, 27-3.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, you knew that
They went into the half.
The Saints would come back on this.
They went into the half 24-3, and we had a final of 27-19. So realistically, Minnesota didn't do dick the whole second half. And
Oh, stop. They did enough, dude. They
dude,
did enough. They won the game on the road.
they put up a field. No, Minnesota was at home.
that's
Minnesota
right,
got a
1
field
o'clock.
goal in the second half.
Kirk Cousins voodooed them into winning.
Okay, now I have a next question for you. If
Yeah.
Derek Carr is cleared from the concussion protocol, Derek Carr was extremely ineffective in this game. Jameis Winston came in, and the offense, to me, looked like it had a little bit more direction.
It looked like they got a little boost from Winston coming in. That first throw he had to Olave, that did it. That ignited everything. And that's when they really started to play well.
This offense looked like it had a little bit more juice
Yeah.
than when
It wasn't as
Derek
stagnant.
Carr was at the helm. So if you're Dennis
But
Allen,
when you're playing from behind, listen, a lot of times when you're playing from behind, it's a little bit easier than trying to
disagree
play
with
when
that.
you're ahead. You
I
know what I
disagree with
mean?
that. We talk about all the great quarterbacks in this league, how a lot of them can't play from behind.
Well, they can't.
Okay.
But when you're Jameis Winston out there just trying to get your garbage yards, because that's what he does, and you know what? When the game was on the line, what happened?
They were in a position to win this game.
Exactly,
and he
what
threw a
happened?
pick.
Thank you.
But I'll be
That's what
honest
he
with
does.
you.
A la Dak Prescott.
Would you rather be in the position to win the game and throw the pick, or leave Derek Carr out there and get blown out 27-10?
I would put Winston in and take the pick.
I'll be honest. If I was Dennis Allen right now, I'm really thinking about this because this offense with Derek Carr has had no identity. They haven't looked good, and they haven't
I don't
been
think
able
it's
to really
Derek
put it
Carr. I think
together.
it's Dennis Allen. I think it's his fault. I think this is all coaching. That's my opinion. Now, if you don't think Derek Carr cut the mustard, bench him. Stop fucking playing games and bench him. All right? You brought him in to be your guy. If you don't think he's cutting the mustard, sit his ass on the bench. That's what needs to happen. See, these fucking coaches, man, you get locked into a guy, sort of like last year with Russell Wilson. He should have been benched last year. There's no way he should have fucking been starting for the Denver Broncos last year. He was
McDaniels,
fucking
Jimmy
awful.
Garoppolo.
Not to say that team wasn't awful last year, because they were awful too. But, I mean, it is what it is. If it's time to move on from a guy and he's not producing, it's time to move on. I mean, you got debacle and and fucking Atlanta going on. You got to fucking come up with it, dude. You do what Tennessee did. They threw their guy in, throw him to the Wolves. You win, you lose, you move on.
A piece of quarterback news. Amu Bob has come out and said that the Jets will not be making a change at quarterback or at offensive coordinator.
Hey, I don't think Zach Wilson was playing that bad near the end of the game there.
They couldn't score a touchdown, dude.
I know.
We're going to discuss.
They lost the fucking game.
I don't want to go
because they couldn't score a touchdown.
I don't want to go there yet.
Okay.
I don't want to go there yet.
Serviceable.
I just let it start brewing in your head because I think we're going to have a good conversation about that one. Next up, though.
I could wheel fucking goddamn you-know-who out there in a fucking wheelchair. You could throw the ball better. Go ahead.
I'm looking at this right now, and I just don't understand it. The Pittsburgh Steelers hosted the Green Bay Packers at home, and Pittsburgh came out on top.
That's the 2-0 Pittsburgh Steelers in conference. Go ahead.
Pittsburgh came out on top. Green Bay's not in their conference.
No, Pittsburgh Steelers are 2-0 and lead their conference, their division. Yeah.
Pittsburgh comes out on top 23-19. And I to piggyback off of what you said and how I was going to open this, I, for the fucking life of me, cannot fathom watching this Pittsburgh Steelers offense, how in the fuck this team is 6-3. How?
There's no difference from when Ben Roethlisberger was there.
But no, it's different. This
on,
offense is so much worse than when Ben Roethlisberger. You had Le'Veon Bell, you had Antonio Brown, you had Martavius Bryant.
Yeah,
like
it's typical
they were
Steelers
shooters.
fashion. The defense carries the team.
Yes, but how is a defense carrying this awful of an offense?
Shout out to TJ Watt. He actually jumped in front of his brother with half a sack.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Got to 100
live on Red Zone.
Huh?
They changed it live. They had them tied, and then they changed it live on Red Zone.
I saw that. Okay. Listen to this stat line out of Kenny Pickett. 14 for 23 for 126 yards.
And they won.
Jalen Warren, 15 for 101 on the ground. That's 6.7 yards per carry and a touchdown. Najee Harris, 16 for 82, 5.1 yards per carry and a touchdown. So their running game has gotten it figured out a little bit. They're running the ball pretty effectively. But my God, it's so ugly. And you know something?
Sometimes ugly is good.
Yeah, but they're 30th in total yards per game, and they're 6-3. And you want to know what? I went over their schedule, okay? They have a win against Cleveland. Which
they lead the league in turnover differential.
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
They have a win against Cleveland, a win against Vegas. They lost to Houston bigly. They beat Baltimore. They beat the Rams. They beat Tennessee. And they beat Green Bay.
You just said it yourself. They're 2-0 in the division. They're a game behind Baltimore.
One game behind
in the standings. But they hold the tiebreaker on them right now.
So
that don't fucking matter. They are leading the division because they haven't played that extra game yet.
Actually, they're only a half game behind Baltimore.
Right.
That's just... And they're tied with Cleveland, who we'll talk about in a few minutes. But this AFC North situation right now is a complete shit show. But back to this game.
I can't believe that they're where they're at. Najee Harris was running hard. I love the Jalen Warren kid. He's another fucking kid that runs real hard. And you know what? Keep doing it. Who gives a fuck if it's ugly? Run the ball, play defense.
So
defense wins championship.
You want to know the biggest difference in this game?
Yeah.
Jordan Love threw the ball 40 times as opposed to Kenny Pickett's 23s.
Right.
And he was 21 of 40, so 50% completion. 289 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. And they're not... A.J. Dillon had a 40-yard rush, and his total stat line was 9 carries for 70 yards. And Aaron Jones, 13 for 35. I mean, that's awful. It's fucking awful. But why? Why are you trusting Jordan Love to throw the ball 40 times? Even if Aaron Jones is getting you 2.7 yards per carry, let the fucking guy run it 20 times and have 3 yards per carry average.
Pittsburgh and the pass rush? Come on, dude.
Come on. Honest to God, we've talked a lot about which coaches should be fired when. I think you've got to start to make an argument that Matt LaFleur needs to lose.
Matt LaFleur, let's be honest, dude. You know, they moved on from Aaron Rodgers. They didn't even want him back in the fucking building, and they wanted to run with Jordan Love, and look what you got right now. Look what you got. You got fucking dog shit. And you know what? I get it. He might be serviceable. You think he's serviceable, but watch him and watch a rookie like CJ Stroud. You tell me who's the better quarterback.
I mean, it's bad. And
It's fucking awful.
Jaden Reed had a nice little game catching the ball, 5 for 84 and a touchdown,
So he's
46
got
yarder.
a great group of young receivers there.
Well, but
and he fucking, I don't know, dude.
Romeo Dobbs, 3 for 31 and a touchdown. Christian Watson has been the biggest abomination at the wide receiver position from last year to this year that I think I've ever seen. How does a guy who had such a nice year last year come out and just shit the bed this
It
hard?
tells you the difference between having a quarterback and not having one.
My God.
And it's blatantly in black and white for you. How about that? Don't use the injuries as an excuse either.
Next up, in another poop game of the week, the Tennessee Titans headed down to Raymond James Stadium to play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tampa Bay gets a W, finally, 20-6. Let's be real here. We're just going to make this one as quick as we can. Baker Mayfield, 18 for 29, 278, 2 touchdowns and a pick. Rashad White, 20 for 51. They still can't run the football. Will Levis, 19 for 39 for 199 yards and 1 interception. Derrick Henry, 11 for 24 on the ground. They could not run the ball. They did not win the game.
This was a comeback for that Tampa Bay defense
Big time.
that got absolutely obliterated the week before, and they came back and they played fucking hard and were ready to play. And Mike Evans was an absolute monster.
I will say,
unstoppable monster.
He dropped an easy touchdown in the beginning of that game. He dropped it just blatantly, and it seemed like after that he came out like a man on a mission. 6 for 143 and a touchdown for Mike Evans.
It should have been 2 touchdowns.
Should have been 2. When the Tampa Bay defense is all healthy,
And Baker Mayfield actually looked good.
he didn't look bad.
He actually looked good.
He didn't look bad.
I was impressed. He came back. He played hard. You know, he was there and he looked good. I was very, very satisfied with his performance.
My takeaways from this game are when Tampa Bay has a healthy defense, mainly when their secondary is healthy. When their secondary is healthy, they win games. Because guess what? It is
Their front was on a mission. Them
Well, I
guys
was
were
going to
on a
say,
mission.
it is no easy task to run the football effectively against Tampa Bay.
Vita Vea, man. Wow.
So if you can't
I would
throw it,
love to have him in Detroit.
if their secondary is all healthy and all out there, you're not going to be able to run the ball well, and you're not going to be able to throw the ball well, especially with a guy in Will Levis who still looks very green. And we don't know.
Oh, yeah. You know what, though? I know he looks green, but listen, he's far ahead from Malik Willis. I mean,
okay.
you can't even compare the two. You can't.
Malik Willis is real close to Tommy DeVito, okay?
I listen, nobody's worse than Danny DeVito. I was like, oh my fucking Lord.
Now I have a question for you.
Yes.
If Tampa Bay is sitting at 4-5, New Orleans is a half a game above them at 5-5.
I'd still say this division is up for grabs.
Well, I do too, especially if Derek Carr's out.
They're 4-5. Atlanta's 4-5, right?
Yep.
And so is fucking New Orleans. They're all 4-5. You're going to see you might see.
No, excuse me. Atlanta's 4-6. They haven't hit their bye yet.
It doesn't matter. They're 4-6. Guess what? This division is still up for grabs. You're going to see one of those things like last year when, who was it, slid in with the losing record?
Tampa Bay got in at 8-9.
Yeah, you're going to see that shit again this year.
Okay, now, if Derek Carr misses time and Michael Thomas is out,
yeah,
does that change your persona of New Orleans anymore, having crab legs at the helm?
Yeah, I would say you would have to give the nod maybe to Atlanta. Maybe.
Whoa.
They've been a shit show
Didn't
too.
see that one coming.
I mean, to be honest with you, dude, I think Tampa's still got a chance to run away with this division.
Wow.
Yeah. I really do. I mean, listen, if Baker could come out and put up the performance like he did this week, that I don't think that they could lose another game.
Oof.
I mean, their schedule going down the road, I don't think it's that hard. I mean, come on.
Well,
is
they
Carolina
won the
really
division.
good?
Hold
No.
on.
They're bad.
All right.
Atlanta's bad.
Honest to God, Tampa, I'm looking at this schedule now.
Yeah.
They're at San Fran next week.
Okay.
Then they're at Indy.
Well, I will say this right now. Don't sleep on that game. San Fran come out. They put their little fucking foot on somebody's. They put their foot on the throat of a team that was coming off a bye that obviously was not ready for them.
Okay.
Obviously.
Hold on now. They're at San Francisco, at Indy, at home against Carolina, at Atlanta, at Green Bay.
They can win them the last 3 games easily.
Then after that, they're at home against Jacksonville, at home against
Yeah.
NOLA, at Carolina.
Yeah, they can still win the division. It might be ugly. They might be what? Fucking 8-9? 8-9 and win the division? Yeah. Could happen.
They've just got to try and run
6
the ball.
more wins.
Is what it is, dude. Who cares? I don't give a fuck. It ain't our
Bruce
division.
is saying,
Let's go.
Bruce is
They
saying,
beat Indy. They
you
beat
think they're going to win
Carolina.
11 games?
They beat Carolina twice. They're definitely beating Atlanta again. They're going to beat Green Bay. They're going to beat New Orleans.
I thought Atlanta beat them.
Atlanta did beat them.
Did they?
Go up.
They haven't
Yeah,
played.
they lost to Atlanta. They played
Yeah.
Atlanta after Detroit during that 3-game skid.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
Go down. They
Right
lose
there,
3 or
right
4
after
in a row.
Detroit.
They lost 4 in a row.
They lost 4 in a row. Well, look at the teams they played, though. Go back up there. Go back up.
Detroit, Atlanta, Buffalo, and Houston.
Right.
Yeah, but Frisco, Indy, they could lose both those games.
Okay.
They could lose at Atlanta
Indy's
again.
an iffy. They're beating
I don't think they'll
Carolina.
lose that Indianapolis game.
They'll probably beat.
Especially if Gardner Minshew's still the guy. Forget about it.
They'll beat Carolina. They'll beat Green Bay. Did they lose to New Orleans once already? No, they beat NOLA the first time. They'll lose to New Orleans. They'll lose 3 games.
At home against
They'll beat
New Orleans.
Carolina at the end of the year.
I see them losing 2 games out of these.
Ah.
Jacksonville and San Francisco.
You got a lot more faith than I do, son.
Yeah. No, I'd say he's about right. Jacksonville and Frisco.
Well,
They could still win all and fucking get in.
They're my favorites to win their
And you know what?
do you think?
I really don't care. You want to know why? Because we had the fucking tiebreaker on them, so I don't really give a
Oh,
fuck.
they didn't even be close
Yeah.
to the tiebreaker. Do you believe Will Levis is the franchise quarterback of the future in Tennessee?
I do. I think if they get him a few more weapons, the offensive line is putrid. They need to get some guys up front that can actually block. And they need to seriously take a look at maybe drafting a running back this year, some guy that they're actually going to play and use instead of signing a veteran like Miles Sanders and give him fucking 2 carries. So I don't know. I don't know if you're enamored with Chuba Hubbard, go ahead. But
What are you
nobody
talking
else is.
about the Panthers?
What?
I was talking about Tennessee.
Oh, Tennessee.
Is
Well,
Will
I mean, is
Levis?
Derrick Henry gone after this year?
I mean,
Is he a free agent? Everybody thought he was going to get dealt.
I'm asking you if you think Will Levis has the attributes
Yes, I
to
do.
be the franchise quarterback
He's
of
got
the future.
DeAndre Hopkins for the next couple of years. It wouldn't matter. He could throw that thing to the fucking barn, and it wouldn't matter. Hopkins going to catch it. They need somebody to play off of Hopkins. They don't have anybody. That's an issue.
Yeah, they definitely need to get
Their
some
offensive line is shit.
Traylon Burks was supposed to be that
they
guy.
need
and
offensive
just
line
not.
help bad. I mean, come on. Derrick Henry, how many carries did he have?
12.
12 carries. He had 30 yards to a 260-pound fucking running back. Come on, dude.
Excuse me, 11 for 24.
Yeah, that tells you how bad their offensive line is. Trash.
Moving
Fucking
on.
trash.
In a game that we can say was just another feather in Brock Purdy's cap,
God damn.
the San Francisco 49ers headed to Jacksonville in Duval County and absolutely put a heavy dicking down on the Jaguars. San Francisco valiantly and proudly comes out on top in this blowout win, 34-3, and Brock Purdy made Trevor Lawrence eat his jockstrap on the sideline after the game.
Still not a candidate for MVP. That's all.
Brock Purdy, 19 for 26, 296 yards and 3 touchdowns. That is indeed
That first touchdown should have been a pick.
is indeed a 148.9 QBR, one of the highest of the year. Trevor Lawrence, 17 for 29, 185 yards and 2 picks. That's a QBR of 100 less at 48.8.
You've seen those 2 picks that Trevor Lawrence had, they were tip balls.
Anyways,
the receivers didn't catch the ball. They should.
CJ Beathard had to come.
Balls,
CJ Beathard had to come in and finish out the game because Lawrence was looked so putrid yesterday. And you know what? The San Francisco defense stepped up too and stuffed Travis Etienne, only allowing 35 yards on 9 rushes. So then they tried Dearness Johnson, who also was ineffective. Christian McCaffrey's touchdown streak sadly came to an end. He was 16 for 95. That's 6 yards per carry. Deebo Samuel had 3 rushes for 29 yards and a touchdown as well. Through the air, though, is where everything really shined for San Francisco yesterday. George Kittle, 3 for 116 and a touchdown. Ayuk.
Busted play. Go ahead.
Ayuk, 3 for 55 and a touchdown. And I'll be honest with you, Brennan Ayuk looked like a true wide receiver 1 yesterday, which you can't say for Calvin Ridley because he only had 2 catches for 20 yards.
What a fucking disappointment.
Christian Kirk, 6 for 104. He was really the only effective weapon for Jackson.
You have 2 fumbles or 1?
1 fumble.
Yeah.
1 fumble.
Yep.
So, Trevor Lawrence had a fumble as well.
Correct.
So, is San Francisco back?
They turned the ball over fucking 4 times. No, I think I'm gonna be honest with you.
You say that. Hold
it
on.
looked like to me Jacksonville came out, they were flat.
Jacksonville came out flat, but you say that Jacksonville turned the ball over 4 times.
Correct.
At the end of the day, San Francisco caused all 4 of those interceptions. Or both interceptions.
The interception, if you go back and you look at the interceptions there, the receiver had the ball in the hands. They didn't make the catch, got popped up into the air, and that's when they get intercepted.
San
Francisco's
Francisco's
all the time.
San Francisco's defense looked like the San Francisco defense we remember from the first 6 weeks of the year yesterday.
Yeah.
Period. Trevor Lawrence was running for his fucking life. Couldn't really get anything rolling.
The game. I don't like the game plan that Jacksonville came out with.
Nope.
And I'm going to tell you right now, if they would have woke up and did what these other teams had done to beat San Francisco, it might have been a different outcome into this game. I'm going to be honest with you. It looked like to me they don't have the horses up front to do that.
Listen, Brock Purdy yesterday, and I know I'm not saying this to get a rise out of you. He looked like a fucking man on a mission. He hit every fucking receiver. He spread the ball around great. McCaffrey had 6 receptions. Kittle, Ayuk,
the first
Deebo.
touchdown should have been an interception.
Because they weren't playing from behind.
Everybody got involved.
There you go.
Early.
They weren't playing from behind.
Goff was yesterday. He's throwing an interception. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah.
I guess what?
Well, you know
counts
what?
in horseshoes, boys.
Good for them. They didn't drop their 4th straight game. Good for them. I still don't think that they're unbeatable. I think a team that has a good offensive line that can run the football on them will beat them and beat them soundly.
So
that's just my opinion.
On the other side of this now, let's talk about the Jaguars because Jaguars are sitting first in the AFC South.
Right.
At 6-3. Shout out to Angie. He's got his Brock Purdy jersey on the way, he said.
Good for him.
Jacksonville, first in the AFC South at 6-3. But Jacksonville has looked really shaky at times this year. Obviously, in this game, shaky to say the least. They're sitting middle of
I was kind of shocked that they wouldn't come in with a couple of tight ends and actually really try to smash.
Yeah, Evan Ingram was completely.
Them. I don't like these little fucking runs to the outside. You can't do that with the fast defense. Well, you got to fucking hit them head on. And if you don't, you're in trouble.
If you look,
and I will say this, that defensive line was getting a lot of penetration in the middle. And that's what was fucking Jacksonville up.
Oh my God, yeah. They're San Francisco controlled the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball yesterday, without question.
Javon Hargrave was unblockable.
For Jacksonville now, you're sitting at 6-3. You're 1 game ahead of Houston now. And you've already lost to Houston by 20 points.
Correct.
If you're Jacksonville...
And have to play them again. You've lost to the Chiefs, and now you've lost to the 49ers. If you are Jacksonville... They've lost to 2 good teams. Listen, Jacksonville is not a bad team.
Yes,
they are a good team.
Jacksonville either comes to play or they're completely shut off. Fucking division.
Could. And they have the tiebreaker on them already. So,
absolutely.
Yeah.
But good for Brock Purdy. Good comeback for him.
Anyway.
MVP. Next up,
Wasn't a comeback.
We have a
Divisional game.
the Cleveland Browns headed to Baltimore to play the Ravens.
God.
Jim Schwartz and that fucking number 1 ranked defense in the NFL.
Uncle Sam.
That's right. Jim Schwartz. The Schwartz is with you.
The Schwartz.
I laughed at this big bastard next to me when he picked Cleveland this week. I laughed.
Everybody laughed at me. I took Cleveland. Fuck you.
Now Cleveland tied for second in the AFC North at 6-3. Baltimore at 7-3, sitting on top still. But my God, is this division going to come down to it? Cincy sitting in fourth at 5-4. Cleveland and Pittsburgh in second at 6-3, and Baltimore sitting on top still.
And I'm going to
at
be honest
7-3.
with you. I was shocked that Baltimore dropped the lead that they had. They were up by 14 at one point.
Yeah, Baltimore at one point in this
I
game.
was shocked, dude.
Baltimore had leads in this game, 14-0, 17-3, 24-9.
Yeah, it did look like that
Excuse me,
Tug and Rub was
30
going to get anything going.
31-17, Baltimore led this game in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
In the fourth quarter.
And then what took over? Myles Garrett and that defense fucking took over. And I was just like, wow.
They would not be denied. They would not be denied. And I'm not going to lie to you, Lamar Jackson didn't look great yesterday. Didn't look great at all, in my opinion.
Well, because he was being pressured.
Absolutely.
That's what happens when you get pressure on Lamar Jackson. He you know what? Everybody's going to make a mistake when they're pressured. You know, this is what a pass rush is supposed to look like. Hey, wake up there. What's your name in Detroit? Fucking GM. Brad Holmes. This is what a fucking defense is supposed to look like. Not that dog shit you put out there every week.
Dinkin' duck. Dog
Yeah.
shit.
Dog shit that they put out there every week. Dog shit that the Detroit Lions put out there every
week. We talk
week.
about the game that we're talking about?
Yeah, go ahead.
Rub and Tug Watson, 20 for 34, 213 yards, a touchdown and a pick.
Amari Cooper was Amari Cooper as usual.
Can I point out something here? Amari Cooper had 0 catches at the half.
Didn't matter.
Jerome Ford,
Didn't matter.
17
He
for
did
100,
at the end, though, didn't he?
17 for 107. Deshaun Watson also had 37 yards on the ground. Kareem Hunt got a TD, 10 rushes for 32 yards. Amari Cooper, 6 for 98. Elijah Moore, 5 for 44 and a touchdown. On the other side of things, Odell Beckham picks up a touchdown on a one reception.
On a
40
fucking
yards.
slant that the guy fell down on. Give me a break.
You know what?
He's fucking trash.
You know what? You're trash. You always making it. Every time it's a player that you don't like, it's an
What do you
excuse
mean
as
it's
to
a
why
player
they
I
did
don't
something
like?
decent.
All I said is that Odell Beckham Jr. is fucking overrated.
Guess what? And Amari Cooper should have had 2 offensive pass interference
Listen to
calls
me.
that they
Amari
fucking
Cooper
missed.
is the consummate pro.
Amari Cooper is fucking dog shit has-been motherfucker. The consummate pro is Tyler Lockett. Anyways, Zay Flowers, 5 for 73. Nice. There you go. Drop him. Mark Andrews, 2 for 44. The offense just wasn't able to get much going in the second half. I mean, they came out, they laid it on heavy quick. Gus Edwards got a touchdown on the ground. Keaton Mitchell got a touchdown on the ground. And then after that, the OBJ touchdown happened early. And then after that, this offense just went completely stagnant in the second half due to the fact that Cleveland's defense just came out, took over this game. That's
Jim
a simple
Schwartz.
fact.
Jim Schwartz should be coach of the year.
Leon said that you always pull a rabbit out of the hat.
I don't know. I can't see the fucking chat.
Oh, wow.
Going back and forth. Chill out.
Yeah, you do. This was a lucky one here. You got
Listen,
lucky.
I didn't pull a rabbit out of my hat.
It was a rabbit out of the hat.
Schwartz pulled a rabbit out of your ass.
So now that we've seen all these teams in this division play each other, if you had to rank these 4 teams
Right now?
where you not who you think is the best, where you think they will finish at the end of the year.
Okay, so where are we looking at right now? Baltimore is 7-3.
Yep.
Pittsburgh 6-3. Cleveland 6-3. And Cincinnati's 5-4. I don't want to count Cincinnati out. Not yet. It's way too early for that. Because they could get hot here going down the stretch.
They usually do.
And they do. This is when Cincinnati turns it up. They normally start out fucking slow. You know. And they have to play Baltimore this week on Thursday night.
Yep.
Then they play Pittsburgh. Those are two huge games right
Massive
there.
games.
Huge games.
But think about it this way: if they win both of those, they're right back.
They're right back in it. They're right back in it because they have to play Pittsburgh again later in December. There, they got to play them. Then they have to go. Where are they going? At Kansas City. And then they got Cleveland at home. That's going to be a huge game. It might come down to that last game of the year.
Yeah. 100%.
Especially if Cleveland goes off on a little tear and starts winning. In fact, I'm going to make this prediction right now.
Hold on. Before you make any predictions,
okay.
You want to hear Cleveland's schedule on the other side of it.
Go ahead.
Pittsburgh this week, at Denver, at LA, at home against Jacksonville, at home against Chicago, at Houston, at home against the Jets, at Cincinnati.
I'm going to say this right now. I think the Cleveland Browns will win the fucking North. Okay? The AFC North. You just heard it here. Cleveland Browns are going to win the AFC North.
Well, so this is how we're going to do this, all right? Just like we did with the NFC South, you're going to take Cleveland.
Yep.
I'm going to take Cincinnati. Zolo gets Baltimore because that was his pick anyways, and you get Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Fine, dude. Why do I always get the shitty one?
You're taking Cincinnati. Who do you get?
I got Pittsburgh.
What's wrong with Pittsburgh? They're 2-0 in the division, dude.
Yeah, but you think that's going to
They
last?
lead the fucking division right now.
You think that's going to last?
You don't know. You never know. Especially these divisional games, man. They're tough, dude. I'm telling you. I'm taking the Cleveland Browns to win the AFC North.
The thing is, I want Baltimore. So
No, because you can't, because Mike has to have Baltimore. Just like he has to have Michigan. Michigan.
Next up, getting away from the divisional game here and moving on to another dumpster fire, but it was at least a competitive dumpster fire. The Atlanta Falcons headed to Arizona to play the Cardinals. Atlanta sitting at 4-6 now, third in the NFC South. Arizona picks up their second win of the year with Kyler Murray's return. Arizona wins this one 25-23. Kyler Murray in his return was 19 for 32 for 249 yards and a pick. He also had 33 yards and a touchdown on the ground. James Conner returned from IR as well, 16 for 73 on the ground for him. Trey McBride, baby, the big tight end for the Cardinals, 8 for 131. Rondale Moore led the wide receivers with 5 for 43. On the other side, we can bitch about Arthur Smith now. Taylor Heineke started the game. He was 8 for 15 and a touchdown. And they kept pulling him out to throw Desmond Ridder in there on 3rd and 4th down and run the ball. Eventually, Heineke injures his hamstring. He is questionable for this week. It's leaning more towards doubtful for what I'm reading on the Twitterverse. Desmond Ridder was 4 for 6 passing for 39 yards. Yes, you heard that right. He also had 3 rushes for 11 yards on the ground and a touchdown. Bijan Robinson came alive, 22 for 95 and a touchdown. Heineke had 4 for 34 on the ground as well. Algiers, 9 for 31. What is going on? What the fuck is going on? And then you had Jonnu Smith, who was last week's savior for them. 1 reception for 1 yard.
Cordell Patterson did play in this game too, also.
Yes, he had 2 receptions for 7 yards, and he had 3 rushes for 13 yards. Great. 15 total yards.
At least they're using the guy they should be using.
Drake London, 3 for 36. Kyle Pitts, 3 for 30. I don't know.
Kyle Pitts is dog shit, dude.
Kyle Pitts is dog shit.
He's fucking dog shit.
Can I be honest?
Trey McBride is better than Kyle Pitts.
Atlanta has the worst run offense in all of fucking football, because this was a game that they easily could have won.
They should have won
if they just ran a normal fucking offense.
Yeah, I can't explain what's going on there. You have a tight end that was picked 4 overall,
I believe.
You have a wide receiver that was picked in the top 10. You have fucking players there, and for some reason they can't put it together. They can't fucking put a decent game plan together.
Yep. Kyle Pitts was the 4th overall pick.
If I was them, I would run the ball fucking 55 times a game.
I mean, yeah, what are you
with Algier and fucking Bijan Robinson? I don't know why they're having these garbage fucking this quarterback dilemma. I mean, it's obviously that Desmond Ridder can't hit a fucking receiver that's 20 yards down the field.
Like,
It's obvious.
let's be real here, right? What are we doing? Like, what the fuck are you doing?
I don't.
Bijan Robinson was hot. 22 carries for 95 yards, 4.5 yards per carry. Feed him. He only
Against
give him 30 rushes.
defense, it's pretty good.
No, I mean, let's be Arizona's defense. Nothing about Arizona is
Their
that good.
defense ain't fucking bad, dude.
Their defense is dog shit, dude.
Yeah.
It's dog shit.
They're not great.
Give him 30 carries. Give him 30 fucking carries and see what he does. Because if you give him those 8 more carries. I mean, Jesus Christ, Heineke they only threw the ball 21 fucking times.
Right.
So, I mean, maybe it was just they didn't have enough snaps to do it. But come on. Especially in this division. The division is yours to win. So, at the end of the day, Arthur Smith needs to get it together. They might need to make a coaching change there too. Because a team with this much first round talent.
Arthur Smith was hot in the beginning of the year. They were had a nice start out to the year.
Listen,
but it looks like by every week that goes by, looks like he's losing his team more and more.
A team with this much first round talent should in no way, shape, or form be
that shitty.
Yeah.
Listen, I don't know what you're doing there, but
next up, we had a
divisional game.
And one that I know Uncle Sam cannot wait to talk about. The New York Giants headed down to Jerry World in Dallas to play the Cowboys. And the Cowboys pulled down Danny DeVito's pants at midfield, coated him in Vaseline, and did whatever they wanted as the Cowboys come out on top 49-17 in a game that I don't even know how the fuck the Giants got 17 points out of.
I don't either. I was watching this game, and I will say this. The Giants' offensive line is absolutely fucking atrocious.
Putrid.
This guy, and let me tell you something. Danny DeVito is not fucking good. He's got to be one of the worst quarterbacks I've ever seen.
Did you know he still lives at home with his?
I seen
his mom lives like 10 minutes from the stadium,
and that's exactly where he belongs, in the basement and never come out. But he's fucking. I don't even know what to say. I mean, outside of him dropping back and just looking for a hole to run through. He was absolute dog shit. He wasn't looking to push the ball down the field. He wasn't looking for receivers. And it's just, you got to be able to put a better backup quarterback out there than that.
Cooper Rush?
I mean, what
Cooper
the
Rush?
fuck, dude?
Tommy
I mean, what are you doing, dude? I'm talking about Brian Dabo. I mean, his job should be in jeopardy right now. Fuck you with the injuries, dude. You at least need to put a competitive product out on the field, and they are not, dude.
They are not.
They've been blown out in the last 3 fucking games.
I will say, it's not just Danny DeVito.
No,
Danny
it's
DeVito's
not. It's not.
Good.
I mean, the only guy I seen offensively that was actually trying was fucking
Saquon Barkley.
He's the only guy that's out there that's actually trying not to look just god-awful. God-awful. The offensive line is putrid. I don't blame the wide receivers because Danny DeVito.
No. Hold on. If you're going to say I can't blame the receivers, they're fucking... You have to blame...
You got to come back to
their
this
receivers
guy,
are so fucking bad. Daniel Bellinger led the team in receiving. Darius Slayton led the team in targets. Like, it's awful, dude. It's awful.
He was awful, dude. He couldn't hit the fucking broadside of a barn.
Yes,
he couldn't hit water if he fell out of a boat.
The receivers
he was fucking awful.
The receivers are awful. This goes back to the beginning of the year when we talked about how badly they needed to go out and get talent. They needed to get pass catchers. They got Darren Waller.
They got the best tight end that was available, and I don't have an issue with that.
And he's fucking hurt
But
now.
You know what? When you drafted a wide receiver, Jalen Hyatt
he was targeted one time, no reception.
The fucking kid was good in college. He's a burner. He's that guy that you want to stretch the field. They need a guy that could control that. They need a slot guy that could control yardage for them, get them first downs. They don't have it. They don't have it. Outside Darius Slayton, they have nobody.
They have absolutely nothing. They have nothing to offer you right now.
DeVito Zolo?
They'll probably lose every game the rest of the year.
Yeah, I don't know. I think, you know what? They're going to be in the Caleb Williams sweepstakes.
They are. Yes, they are. As far as the
I don't even think he's the best quarterback in college. Michael Penix is. But
as far as the Dallas Cowboys go, Dak Prescott started off this game 26 for 35 for 404 yards, 4 passing touchdowns.
Let me say this. I don't know if you
You're not
watched.
even gonna let me get it out. You're not even gonna let me
Did
get
you
the
watch
stat
the
line
beginning
out.
of the game?
I watched the game. Yes, I watched the game.
And
they
what
dominated the game the entire
What
time.
happened in the beginning of the game?
They dominated the game the entire way through.
No, then you didn't watch what I watched. All right.
You didn't watch what I watched. What, Dak's interception? That's what we're going to talk about?
Yeah.
Is Dak's interception? Great.
Yeah.
They won 49-17.
In their own fucking thing, they
Jesus.
turned the ball over, and Danny DeVito couldn't even get the fucking ball into the end zone.
Exactly. So it
They're
didn't
fucking
fucking
like 10
matter.
yards away.
It
What the
didn't
fuck?
matter. I watched the Dak interception, and I'm sitting there thinking to myself, if the Giants can't score here, they can't score ever. And they
that's what
fucking
happened.
didn't. All right? Outside of that one interception to start off the game that gave the Giants the ball inches from the end zone, and they couldn't do anything about it, Dak Prescott played a pretty perfect goddamn game after
Dak
that.
Prescott. You know what'll happen at the end.
Guess what? He was
We don't
26
even need
for
to go
35,
there right now.
404 yards and 4
You know what's going to
touchdowns.
happen at the end? We don't need to go there.
And the early pick, Cooper Rush came into the game 7 for 9 for 68 yards and a pick. Rico Dowdle 12 for 79 and a touchdown. Tony Pollard 15 for 55. Dak Prescott ran one in on the ground, so that's 5 total touchdowns for Dak.
He fucking walked in.
CeeDee Lamb rushed one in, and he also caught one. Wells putting up 151 receiving yards. Brendan Cooks 9 for 173 and a touchdown too. Michael Gallup caught a touchdown pass. So did Jake Ferguson, and also a partridge in a motherfucking pear tree, because the Cowboys went off. Dak Prescott looked really good outside of the first drive that he threw the pick on, and you can't really say anything else about it.
What's funny is
And guess what?
Dabble got Coach of the Year last year too, didn't he?
Guess what? You sat there for multiple weeks in a row and talked to us about Kayvon Thibodeau and how great this Giants defense was. They're fucking awful too. Every aspect of this team right now is fucking awful. Period. Zolo's in the chat. Zolo said, imagine getting shit pumped in an NFL game, then going home to sleep in your mom's basement. He also said that Caleb Williams would thrive in the Giants offense. And Zolo also said that Dallas is looking sharp offensively, and he's slowly winning in the fantasy league thanks to Dak. All of those are true. Angie, Tony Pollard is indeed infuriating because everybody on the fucking team, including the water boy, had touchdowns yesterday besides him. Tony Pollard actually has not had a touchdown since week 1, where he had 2. And then after that, they just didn't go to
Maybe
him.
he just sucks.
Yeah, Angie, honest to God, you should
Yeah.
go Rico Dowdle.
That Dowdle guy's better than he is.
Yeah. Yeah. Outside of that, Steven said the fact that he had homemade breakfast after that loss was probably a huge plus. And I would have to agree with you.
Anyway.
Moving on. Next up, in a game that truly pulled on my heartstrings, the Washington Commanders headed to Seattle to play the scumbag Pete Carroll and the Seahawks. And
I hate
Seattle
that motherfucker.
barely squeaks this one out, 29-26, off of you know what? I don't even want to go there. This game, I wanted Sam Howell to come out on top in this game so bad, because this was another one of those games that showed me just how fucking beatable Seattle is. And Seattle should have lost this game. Geno Smith, 31 of 47, 369 yards, 2 touchdowns. Sam Howell, 29 for 44, 312 yards, and 3 touchdown passes. Ultimately, Seattle comes out on top, 29-26. As far as the rushing game goes, Brian Robinson, receiving. Brian Robinson, 6 receptions for 119 yards and a touchdown. He also had 38 on the ground. Antonio Gibson, 42 yards on 5 catches and a touchdown. He had 13 yards on the ground. And Diami Brown comes up big at the end of the game. And you know what? It just wasn't enough, but he got that touchdown grab, and I thought for a minute that Sam Howell was going to pull this thing out.
I did too.
I really did. Metcalf had a few big catches at the end to get the Seahawks into field goal range, 7 for 98. Tyler Lockett, 8 for 92 and a touchdown. Kenneth Walker, 63 on the ground and 64 through the air with a touchdown. Bad penalties for Washington in this game. Stupid penalties that they cost themselves this game based off of stupid penalties and mistakes down the stretch.
Yes.
Because this game was theirs to win. Sam Howell looked great yesterday. Sam Howell, in my opinion, looked like the franchise quarterback of the future in Washington. Brian Robinson looks like a great player, both running and catching the ball. And you know what? It just wasn't enough.
Thank
It
God.
wasn't fucking enough.
I was almost not going to beat you.
With my quarterback putting a fucking 7 up. I hear you.
What are your thoughts on Seattle?
Well, I mean, they are what they thought they are. Look at the numbers from last year to this year, and look where their quarterback play was at last year. He was playing out of his mind last year, and Geno Smith was winning all these fucking games last year, and this year, outside the Detroit game, he's been dog shit.
Dog shit.
Dog shit.
Yep.
And they're not going to go far if they can't fix what's going on with him, because I'm going to tell you right now, they haven't been able to run the football consistently yet this year. And I think that's what's hurting them. That offensive line, I know they got a lot of young guys, but they all played really well last year. And this year it just seems like they can't run block for shit. Because even with Charbonnet and
Kenneth
Walker, they can't get a consistent drive going where these guys are just dominant.
Honest to God, in the few carries that Charbonnet's had, he's looked really fucking good. But
I know, but he isn't
Here's the
doing
thing.
what he should be.
well, yeah, but here's the problem. Geno Smith's throwing the ball 50 fucking times a game.
And that's what you want.
See, I
That's
disagree.
what Washington was trying to do, was make him throw. That's how you beat them, is make him throw, dude.
Well, yes, but if you're Seattle, I would much rather give Kenneth Walker 25 carries, give
don't
Zach
understand.
Charbonnet 10
I
or 15,
don't know what
and make Geno Smith throw the ball 30 times.
I don't know who the offensive coordinator is in fucking Seattle.
Probably Pete Carroll.
You know what? I mean, come on, dude. If I had those two running backs, they would be getting fucking 45 carries a game
Yeah.
between the two of them.
Between the
And
two
I'm
of
not
them, I
kidding.
agree.
Yeah, until one of them tears an ACL.
That's all right. It happens. It happens.
Next guy up,
I was
Dallas,
heartbroken for Sam
DJ
Howell.
Dallas.
I was heartbroken for Sam Howell. Zolo was indeed the only one who picked Seattle in this game. So
Okay,
chalk one up.
good for
Zolo.
Mike.
And here we go. In what many would call the fucking toilet bowl of week 10, Sunday Night Football, the New York Jets headed to Las Vegas to play Aiden O'Connell and the Raiders, baby. Vegas comes out on top in this one, their second straight win, putting them at 5-5 and sitting behind the Chiefs in the AFC West. Vegas comes out on top, 16-12. Now,
They've won 2 in a row
they've won 2 in a row.
under Antonio Pierce.
And you know what? They look like a completely different team. A completely different team. You want to talk about what coaching does to a football team? Antonio Pierce, in his more laid-back attitude, and the fact that these guys actually respect this fucking dude and want to play for him versus Josh McDaniels' fucking bitch ass makes a world of difference. A world of difference.
You know what else helps? Is that the opposing quarterback could not fucking score a touchdown if his life depended on it.
Oh, I'm not going to lie, okay? Zach Wilson, 23 for 39, 263 yards, and a pick. And that stat line makes it sound a lot better than it actually was.
And let me tell you something. Mahmoud Bob over there, whatever his fucking name is,
Mahmoud Bob. Shout out
whatever
to
his fucking
Mahmoud
name
Bob.
is. Guess what, dude? You're going to be on the outside looking in if you don't actually get a fucking serviceable quarterback in there, because it's ridiculous already. It's obviously this guy cannot play. He should not be in there. And I'm not going to sugarcoat it. You, as a fucking head coach, need to fucking rectify what's going on. You had a lot of aspirations this year. You brought in the guy. I get it. He goes down. He's hurt. You got to get somebody in there that's serviceable.
If
Either that or fire the fucking offensive coordinator. Because guess what? This guy couldn't hit the broadside of a fucking barn if he depended on it.
if you were
His
Mah-
life depended on
if
it.
you were Mahmoud Bob,
Yeah. I would.
would you give Cam Newton the $5.5 million?
You know what? I don't give a fuck who you call, dude. Call Colin Kaepernick.
Oh wow,
Call Colin Kaepernick. Tell him to come play. He can't be no worse than Zach Wilson. Give me a fucking
Mahmoud
break.
Bob X Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah, there you go. One Muslim to another. Go on, call him, dude. Bring him in.
No, I bet you he hates Bob.
What the fuck? Bring him in. What are you guys doing, dude?
Attitude.
Listen, you need to keep the boat floating until Aaron Rodgers comes back. You better fucking do something.
You know what? You're just so desperate. You're so desperate for them to win a few games so that Aaron Rodgers comes back, they slip in the 7th seed, and then get ass fucked week 1 of the playoffs. Just so you can say Aaron Rodgers came back and did something. You know what? Brees Hall was only at 20.
You're all scared of Aaron
Brees,
Rodgers.
I'm not scared
The
of
whole
anything.
fucking league
I
is
am not
scared of
scared
Aaron
of Aaron Rodgers' old bionic fucking ass. Because guess what? Brees Hall couldn't fucking run the ball against this defense. Zach Wilson looked like a fucking geriatric. And at the end of the day, they let Aiden O'Connell beat them. And this touted Jets defense you have, this oh my God, the best fucking run defense there is. Josh Jacobs, who hasn't tore up anybody this year, decided he was going to tear apart this touted Jets run defense this week for 116 fucking yards.
All right.
Period. So where is it?
The only knee I would ever take, I'm answering a chat.
No,
question.
I don't care about the
The
chat.
only knee I would ever take is it right on the back of Colin Kaepernick's neck.
Oh God. Josh Jacobs, okay? 27 rushes for 116 yards. This
Okay,
Jets
how many?
D is
That's
supposed to
not
be
that
able to stop.
impressive.
That's 4.5 yards per carry
Yeah.
against the defense that's supposed to be this touted run stop. Whereas the Raiders held Brees Hall to 28 yards.
Raiders.
Well, it's like I said, if there's no fear of a fucking passing game,
Yes, but why were the Jets defense scared of Aiden O'Connell throwing the ball on
they
them?
weren't. The problem is they were kicking field goals instead of scoring touchdowns. That's the fucking problem. This is why they lost the game. Period. They were kicking field goals instead of scoring touchdowns. It's not a brain surgery. It is what it is, dude. Listen, they need to get a serviceable quarterback, a guy like Josh Dobbs. They should have went and got Josh Dobbs.
Listen.
You don't think they'd be winning right now if Josh Dobbs was there? You know they would be winning. Garrett Wilson would be a viable product. These guys would be viable products if they had a quarterback in there that could read a fucking defense and deliver the football. That's the problem. Period.
I don't think Dobbs would strive there.
I don't
What?
either.
I think Dobbs is exactly where he needs to be.
I agree.
I'm telling you right now, if they had signed Josh Dobbs to actually play quarterback until Aaron Rodgers was ready, they'd be winning football games, right? They would have won that fucking game yesterday.
I don't see
I
it.
don't think
That's
he fits in that
bullshit,
roster.
dude. You guys are all, you're both fucking high
Yes,
right now.
but you're
must
not
be smoking
you're
the
not
Bruce
addressing the fact that this Jets defense allowed 116 yards to Josh
Okay.
Jacobs on the ground, and Sauce Gardner didn't have an answer for Devontae Adams.
Okay, it was really fucking simple, dude. When there's no threat of a passing game, defenses can just fucking put 10 in the box. And then what do you
I'm
do?
not talking about that. What
Yeah.
I'm asking you about is the Jets defense didn't step up in this game.
Probably because they're on the field fucking the majority of the entire fucking game. Maybe that's why.
See, here it comes. Again, if it doesn't fit into your agenda, you make
It's
it.
not about fitting into agenda. It's about offenses that are fucking impotent, that can't sustain fucking drives, that
I'm
can't take time
not
off the clock.
talking
Because
about
when
the
your offense is not
Jets.
on the field, your defense is. And your defense is on the field that long, there's nothing you can fucking do, dude. You could have the greatest defense of all time. You're still going to fucking lose.
I don't know.
The Baltimore
have-
Ravens, the 2000 Ravens
What if
defense.
what if I told
would've done
you
the same
what
thing.
if I told you the time of possession was in the Raiders' favor by 38 seconds?
Okay,
Both defenses were on the field the same amount of time.
yeah. And what was the offense on there? The Jets offense?
Time of possession 29-42 versus 30-18.
Okay.
It was a 40-second difference.
As far as the clock goes.
As far as time of possession. Right. So the Jets defense was on the field for 30 minutes and 18 seconds.
Hold on now.
Versus 29 minutes and 42 seconds.
Well, there's another edge to that. It all depends on how long drives are.
And the Raiders fumbled the ball 3 times.
Okay. And
the Jets had...
That's a test to the good defense.
It wasn't good enough.
Well, not good enough when your fucking quarterback can't fucking score a touchdown, period.
Jesus Christ.
Listen, Danny DeVito could have scored a touchdown yesterday.
He did. Danny DeVito did throw a touch. He had multiple touchdowns yesterday.
In garbage time.
Well, what about Aiden O'Connell?
What about him?
What are your thoughts on
I
Aiden
like
O'Connell?
Aiden O'Connell. I thought he was good at Purdue.
Do you think Aiden O'Connell is better than Zach Wilson?
Oh, yeah.
You do.
Yes, I do.
So you liked Aiden O'Connell.
I like him better than Zach Wilson, yes.
He had a nice touchdown pass to Michael Mayer yesterday, and that was ultimately the touchdown that decided that game. So, all right, next up, we're just going to do this. You know what?
I say you just say the score and we talk about it
We're going to save this for Wednesday. We're gonna
No, we're not. I want to talk about it right now.
No.
Fuck that.
We're going to save it for Wednesday.
Why? I don't
There's
want to
nothing to
this
say
shit
except for the
Wednesday.
refs tried to
We can
give the
recap
Chargers
it
the
Wednesday.
game.
No, because you're going to sit here and you're going to scream and fucking yell right now.
You know what? dude?
About
Listen, if we're not going to talk about it now, I'm not talking about it Wednesday.
Well, then you could sit there in silence.
Okay, I
Wednesday
will.
if you want.
I'll sit there and
because
it's silent.
Because this is what's going to happen. You're going to sit there and talk about how fucking awful the Lions are, and I want Zolo to sit here to be able to tell you how wrong you are. Because I'm not going to sit here and yell at you while you scream about the fucking defense is awful. Okay? So, at the end of the day, I think we owe the people, we owe the fans Wednesday.
Can I say something?
Sure.
It was blatantly clear at the end of that game the refs were trying to give the Chargers a chance.
Oh, Jesus. Fuck.
Blatantly
Why do
clear.
you talk
This
about
is
me?
why. Yeah, he's
Blatantly
talking
clear.
about me.
I'm sorry.
Can
Blatantly
we talk
clear.
about this?
I'm
then?
sorry.
Blatantly clear.
Let's talk about
You're
What
a
are you
fucking
talking
idiot.
about?
You're a
Two
fuck
bullshit
bag.
calls on
You're a
Sutton?
fuck bag.
Can we?
Bullshit.
Can we get into
Go ahead.
Hey,
The Lions beat the Chargers 41-38 at SoFi. Go ahead. Keep it brief.
You do it. You start.
Okay. All in all, neither of these two teams decided they were going to play defense yesterday. It was like an NBA game. It was like watching the Lakers and the Warriors. Nobody wanted to play defense. The defense walked up and down the field, and they really didn't give a fuck. Period. Do I think the Lions have a putridly awful defense? No, I don't. Do I think they played piss poor yesterday? Yes. Do I think that was the first game all year where the Chargers offense looked extremely complete? Eckler had a good game. Keenan Allen had a good game. Josh Herbert didn't make any mistakes. He looked good. He looked healthy.
What?
What do you mean what?
Who?
Josh Herbert?
Who's Josh Herbert?
Justin Herbert, excuse me.
Okay.
Okay? He looked good.
Interception.
He threw one pick, dude. He also threw 4 fucking touchdown passes.
That throw was at the sideline and
I know.
It was
the
actually
route got jumped.
that was one of the best defensive plays Detroit made all
That
day.
was the
Or
only defensive
stopping
play
them
they
on the
made.
goal
Okay.
line 6 times.
Stopping
End of the
who?
game.
Stopping who?
Chargers.
What are you talking about?
The flag, they stopped him. There was 4th down.
You know what? This is the problem I have with motherfuckers like you. You sit there and you want to blame the fucking refs. At the end of the day, Detroit didn't play defense yesterday. They didn't. They chose not to play defense.
Have scored that touchdown if after the 6th time of stopping them on the goal line, you call a flag a bullshit flag on Sutton, which gives them
It wasn't a
4 more
bullshit
downs.
flag, though. It wasn't a bullshit
It was
flag.
bullshit.
No, it wasn't.
Aiden Hutchinson was being held all game, and you want to
Oh,
call
here
fucking
we. You know
Sutton?
what? You know what?
When are
You know
we gonna-
what?
when are
You
we
know
gonna
why? You know
stop?
why people laugh at Lions fans?
Bullshit.
Because they pull shit like that
When are
out.
we gonna
You won
stop
the
world,
fucking
baby?
game.
Making
you won the
excuses
game.
for Aiden
Just
Hutchinson.
shut up.
World.
Just shut
When
up.
are we going to stop making excuses for Aiden Hutchinson?
You're one.
Okay,
I'm asking a
Aiden
question.
talks
That's
about
all.
calls.
Aiden Hutchinson doesn't need excuses made for him. You're the only one here who wants to be a naysayer about Aiden Hutchinson because he was in the backfield
listen to
all
me.
night last.
Listen to me.
He was in the backfield all
the two
fucking
times
night.
I seen him, he had a shot at the quarterback. He missed.
He was in the
He missed.
backfield all night. He
True.
was made Justin
But he
Herbert
missed.
uncomfortable
Outside
all night.
him, nobody else was back there. That's the problem.
Anyways, do you have anything to briefly say about this before we preview the Monday night game so we can wait till Zolo gets here on Wednesday because we have to give this game the due diligence it deserves? I want to have this argument. I want us
Hell of a
all
shootout.
to have this argument.
Hell of a
but I
shootout.
agree with Steven coming in there. They didn't need to play D because you know what? They knew that the Chargers defense was shitty enough that they were going to go out there and score every drive they had. They didn't care. They didn't need to fucking play defense. At the end of the day, I agree. A road win is a fucking road win, especially in LA. So
I agree. I'm
not buying
I didn't
into
say
this at
anything.
all.
I took the Chargers to win.
Yeah, I know. Because and that was
It almost
that
came
was,
true.
You want to know what? That was fucking dog shit. That was a dog shit, fair weather fucking bitch move is what that was by taking the Chargers. Okay? It was just a desperate attempt to be different. Just like I put on the pics on Instagram. Anyways, do you have anything
Thank
to
you,
add?
Leon.
Or are we going till Wednesday?
They will not go far in this year's playoffs.
Okay, they're the second
If
overall record in
If
the
they
league. Next.
continue to do what they're doing, they will
They
not
haven't
go
done
far.
it besides this week and against
They
Seattle.
will
Next.
They will win their division at best and won't go any farther than that.
They've had 2 bad defensive games all year. Okay. 2.
All right.
What other game did they play piss poor defense in? Besides Chargers and the Seahawks.
Decide what?
Besides the Chargers and the
The
Seahawks.
debacle in Baltimore?
Oh God. They came out flat.
Okay. Yeah. Happens.
Came out flat.
Yeah.
That was
You got some
yell
mobile
at me.
quarterbacks
This is
in division that they're going to have to play here.
Oh, who?
We'll see what happens.
Who? Tyson Badgett?
Titty Badgett?
Yeah.
It won't be Titty Badgett. It's going to be fucking you know who.
Please.
Justin Fields.
They'll hang 28 up against the fucking
Mike will hang himself when they lose to the fucking Bears.
Yeah, right. In what fucking world is that going to happen? Anyways, when Zolo
Sleep
gets...
on Josh Dobbs. and
I
see what
agree with
happens.
you, cousin Steven. They will go further than the Jets.
I'm sorry?
And also, Leon, you're a baby back bitch too, because you're going to cry about the fucking
Guaranteed
refs when they
Zolo
won the
agrees with
game. Guarantee he doesn't. And if Zolo, if you're still here...
I'm not complaining about the refs.
I didn't say you.
I didn't
I said him. I didn't say you. I said him. And Leon's in the chat
it's
saying
normally
he's
him.
fucking right.
It's
Yeah, you
normally
are
him.
usually the one who cries about the refs.
Oh, really,
but
dude?
today,
Come
it's
on,
him.
dude.
What?
You
Once
didn't hear
a
me
week.
say anything about the fucking calls. Guess
Not
what?
this week.
Shitty calls go both ways. It doesn't matter.
Amen. I
They
agree
go
with you.
both ways.
I'm the last person.
The problem is, you want to know what the problem is? You got a guy like Keenan Allen that just torched the living fuck out of you, and thank God.
I mean, Zolo
that-
called it. You can't.
that
You have no
fucking-
answer for Keenan Allen.
I'm sorry?
Yeah, but you're going to sit here and say that Amon-Ra St. Brown had 20 yards less. Like
Yeah.
he torched the shit out of everybody they had.
Yeah.
And this
I'm not-
this
why
this
you guys
Chargers
looking at me?
defense is supposed to be one of the best secondaries around.
Well, Jerwin James.
Derwin James, they got great.
Was it
Derwin James had a
Derwin
nice
James
game.
that got bodied by J-Mo on
Yes.
Montgomery's run? That
Yes.
was awesome. That was awesome.
I everybody's gonna panic about this, and there's no reason at all to panic.
I'm
got
not
people like him.
panicking.
Yeah, you are.
I'm not
Why?
panicking.
Because I
go very
I give you my opinion.
They're
Hey,
the
it's my
second
fucking
best team in
opinion.
football right now, outside of
it's
your
my opinion.
Eagles. I'm
my
aware,
opinion.
but the opinion doesn't make sense.
It
You're the
does make
second
sense.
best team in
Everything,
football.
every
right
time I give an opinion, it makes sense.
now. That is the dumbest shit I have ever fucking heard.
Every time I give an opinion, it makes sense.
Anyways.
You know why? Because you guys don't listen. I know what I see, and I'm going to tell you right now.
You see
what
what
I
you
see
saw?
out of that defense. That defense will not go far if it comes playoff time. They will not be able to stop anybody. Every game is going to be a fucking track meet, and you can't expect fucking Jared Goff to throw for 300 fucking yards and 5 touchdowns every game. Because guess what? Once a team figures out that, hey, if you just stop Detroit's run game, you stop Detroit. Once that fucking happens,
Jesus.
it's over.
was
It's over.
So what defense is then? Whose defense is good
Just
enough?
tell me right
Whose
now.
defense is good enough?
I don't
then?
know whose defense is good
outside
enough.
of Philadelphia. Nobody.
San Francisco?
San Francisco. I mean, they had 3 bad games in a row.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they're beatable.
But
too.
outside
Outside of the 3 games,
listen to
just
me,
like
when
the
a
Lions
team
had.
comes in to
3
play
bad
Detroit
games.
and they stop the fucking run like Baltimore did, then you're in trouble.
Guess what? If you
Then
stop
you're
the
in
run
trouble.
against San Francisco, you're going to beat them. If you stop the run against the Chargers, you're going to beat them.
Correct.
If you stop the run against any of these teams, i.e. Tampa, i.e.
All
Buffalo,
I'm saying
you're
is
going to
this,
beat
if
them.
you're
And the
unable
Lions-
to get stops, you're not going to go far. That is an issue. That's an issue that's been going on from the beginning
The
of
Lions
the
won a game without a run game already.
Correct, but that's
Right.
number one.
Yeah.
But two, whose
the first
offense
start.
are you playing for the rest of the season and in the first 2 rounds of the playoffs that's more high powered than the Chargers?
I don't know. You tell me.
I'm asking you.
I don't know.
Whose offense are they going to be in a track meet
Dallas?
with?
Dallas?
What do you? But this is the thing.
Yeah.
Dallas again, and we'll go back to this. Dallas doesn't have a fucking run game right now,
Yeah.
so the Lions
they
should have
got-
no
they got-
problem
they got
matchup
something
wise
that's-
against them.
Listen, what is the Lions' Achilles heel on defense?
According to you, Aiden Hutchinson.
No, come on now. Come on. Really.
I mean, it is. According to you, Aiden Hutchinson.
You seen it yesterday. You seen what Keenan Allen did, right?
Yeah, I saw. Absolutely.
Okay. And then we seen who did prior to that.
Which week are we
Receivers
talking
prior
about
to
here?
that. Whether it was fucking Zay Flowers or fucking Metcalf or any of these other
What
guys.
do you expect them
this,
to do?
This is an issue.
What do you-
Well, when you can't get a pass rush, you got to
What-
start bringing guys.
Can I
If
ask you a
don't bring
question?
guys?
Are they
you're done.
supposed to hold down every receiver and not allow any
No,
running
that's
yards
not-
every
that's
week?
not what I'm trying to
I mean,
say.
we're talking about look what they did to Mike Evans the week they played Tampa.
And they've stopped every running back they've gone against.
I mean,
Wow.
yeah, they literally
They
you
don't have
cannot
the
run
best
against them.
offensive line in football.
Yes, they
no.
do.
No,
Yes,
they don't.
without question.
No, they
are
don't.
graded as the best offensive line in football.
That
you're going to sit
grade
here and
does
say,
not tell
dude,
the story.
they're fourth in rushing yards. They're fourth in
It
rushing
doesn't
yards
matter.
because the offensive line is making so many plays to be able to allow these guys to do it.
They
They're
were good
second-
yesterday. They were good yesterday.
When have they not been good though?
Baltimore?
Dude, Gibbs still went off for 90 fucking yards.
Yeah, that was
Do you
garbage
understand?
time garbage.
Do you understand? This is what you
Garbage
do.
time.
This is
Yeah.
what you do. And you do this in all aspects. As soon as it's popular to get behind something, you choose to be a naysayer for no reason. And everybody fucking hates Philadelphia, so you ride that bandwagon. Everybody hates Aaron Rodgers, you ride that bandwagon. And everybody down here is the first one to tell me I'm the bandwagon fan. You've been a
are.
fan of a team for 50 years and you jump ship.
You've
you
been a
jump fucking
bandwagon
ship.
team from day one.
You jump ship. After 50 years, you've been a Lions
Look
fan.
who's talking.
You jump ship.
You jump ship on the
Yes,
fucking
but
New
I
England Patriots.
self-admittedly
you
jump
jumped
ship.
ship
At
on
least
New
I'm
England. You went to
self-conscious
Tampa,
enough to know.
Then you jumped off the Tampa
You're
wagon. Where
goddamn
are you?
right I did.
You're in limbo.
I
you don't
am.
even know where
At
the
least
fuck you're
I'll
at.
admit it. I'll
You're
admit
in
it.
limbo. You don't have a fucking
You're just
team.
a fucking hater because you just
You're in
want to be a
limbo.
hater.
You're in limbo. You don't have a fucking team right now.
'Kay.
Here. Cleveland Browns. That's
Perfect.
your
No,
big
I
team.
wouldn't do that
This
because
is
you
your
like
team.
them. You
That's-
like them, so I'm not doing that. At the end of the day, if you think that there's
Here,
an offense,
I got a better team for you. There you go.
if you think there's an offense out there where, if you think Chicago, Green Bay, New Orleans, who can't get out of their own way, Denver, or Minnesota is going to come up against that offensive line and give Goff a problem and stop that run game, you're not watching the games.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay.
There's not one team they play the rest of the year outside of Dallas that should give this team a problem the way they're playing right now. Period. Not one.
You can't get in shootouts and come out on top. That shit doesn't
But
happen.
they do. They
got
get in
lucky.
shootouts.
They
and
got
come out on
lucky.
top.
They
Why'd
got
they get
lucky.
lucky?
On the road,
Why'd
they got
get
lucky.
No,
They get lucky.
Dan
That game
Campbell
shouldn't have been as close as it was.
Dan Campbell pulled his giant fucking scrotum out, went for it on 4th and 2, didn't let Herbert get the ball back, took the risk, kicked the field goal, and won the game. They 1,000% deserved to win that fucking game.
I did not
because
say they didn't deserve to
You
win.
just said they shouldn't have won.
Oh
I did
my
not
God.
say that.
Please run it back.
I said they
somehow.
got lucky.
Here, you know what? No, hold on. I can
said
run
they
it back.
got lucky. They won that game.
I can run it back. You just said they didn't deserve to win that game. Quote unquote.
I did not say that.
You're not watching the games. Okay. That's it. There's not one team they play the rest of the year outside of Dallas that should give this team a problem the way they're playing right now. Period. Not one.
You can't get in shootouts and come out on top. That shit doesn't.
But they do.
What did I say? What did I say?
They got lucky.
They got lucky.
They got lucky.
They got lucky.
Yeah, no, they didn't.
So
Though.
what?
They
Yes,
didn't
they did get lucky.
No, but how?
They got lucky
How?
at the end.
They coached better.
They got lucky.
They coached better than Brendan Staley. They used clock management.
I'm not going
What
to
do
sit
you
here and
mean?
go through this with every fucking little thing I say.
But
It
because
is
what you're
it is,
saying
dude.
doesn't add
Listen,
up, dude.
They fucking won. Good for them. But to go forward, you better fucking wake up and smell the fucking coffee.
But
dude.
what could they do
Because
differently?
I'm telling you right now.
What do you want them to do differently?
The defense was awful
They've
yesterday.
won more
Oh,
big
my
games.
Their
God.
defense was awful yesterday.
So was
Their secondary, you can't blame them because them guys can't cover for that long. You can't get a fucking pass rush. Didn't you guys watch the same game?
Yes.
They can't get a fucking pass rush.
Without question, I watched the same game.
They
That's
can't
why
get a
I'm
pass
so
rush.
perplexed.
How many times did they sack Justin Herbert?
Let's take a peek. You want to take a
How
peek?
many?
We'll take a peek.
How many?
I don't know. We're going to take a peek.
Yeah,
though.
take a peek at that.
How many times?
I don't know. How many?
You're the one who asked the question.
How many
so
times did
enlighten
they
me.
sack him?
They didn't have a sack yesterday.
Thank you.
How many
Thank
sacks
you.
did the Chargers
Enough
have?
said.
How many
Goodbye.
sacks did the Chargers have with Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa, who you said were going to take over the game? Fucking zero. Zero. The Chargers were down the entire game.
And it was
They
a
were down the
3-point
entire
game.
game.
It was a
The Lions were in
3-point
command the entire game.
3-point game.
Awful.
Bud.
It's a
3-point
win.
game.
It's a fucking win.
Yeah. I
You're
said
gonna
it
sit
was
here,
a win.
You're going to sit here and parade around the Eagles when they play like dog shit and win a game by a fucking field goal. The Lions come in and put up 41 against a defense that you said was so reputable all week last week.
Oh, really? Why? Because I said they're coming off of having a very good game.
And you
They had
sat
8
there and talked
fucking
about
sacks,
you sat there and
all
talked
I
about
said
how
was-
Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa were going to take over this game. That is what you said.
Okay.
Am I wrong?
I don't know. I don't remember what I said.
Typical. Typical. That's what you said, and they didn't do dick. Nothing. They did nothing.
Yeah. Okay.
What'd they do?
I don't know. What did Detroit do? They gave
Nothing.
up fucking 38
Nothing. But
points.
Detroit
What did
wins.
They do.
Detroit wins. If
Yeah,
Khalil
they won.
Mack and
They
Joey
won.
Bosa,
Good for them. They won.
If
Listen,
Khalil Mack and
you
Joey
said it yourself.
Bosa-
They beat a dog shit team, right?
who?
You.
I
been
never
saying
once said
the
that.
Fucking Chargers are garbage.
No, you said that you talked about how highly touted
They had
their
won 2
defense.
in a row. They had 1-2 in a row. They were on a hot streak. Fucking Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa dominated the fucking game.
And why didn't they dominate
week
the Lions?
prior.
Why didn't they dominate the Lions?
Well, because they couldn't get to him.
No, because the Lions have the best offensive line in football.
No,
period.
I'll tell you why. Because Jared Goff ain't stupid, dude. Watch Jared Goff. Watch Jared Goff.
The Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack were completely ineffective because the Lions controlled the line of scrimmage.
Well, you just
Correct.
said a minute
Period.
ago that if
Thank
the
you.
Lions don't have a run game, Jared Goff doesn't have the sauce. And now you're
talking
saying
about,
Jared
dude?
Goff has the sauce?
Listen, you high motherfucker.
I'm
They
not
had
high.
200 yards fucking rushing. If they did not have that, they would have lost that game.
He still threw for what?
Well, no shit.
300.
Guess what? If Keenan Allen
Yeah.
wouldn't have played,
Well, I
the
just
Lions
said.
would have won.
Listen, the run is what makes the offense go. We all know this. It's not brain surgery. Not brain surgery, is it?
Yes, but
I
that's
mean,
what I'm
what
saying.
makes the offense
but
go?
you're going to sit here and you're going to downplay everything they do.
I'm not downplaying
because
anything
because
that
they didn't go out
fucking
and get
did.
Chase Young
I
at
was-
the deadline.
Listen, did you really think the offense was not going to be able to score on that?
Absolutely, I knew this game was going to be a shootout.
We said
I
that.
knew it.
We both said that.
Yes, I know, but that's what I'm
get
saying.
that. My problem is this. My problem is when it comes time to get a fucking that game should not have been as close as it was. Period. Period. They should have won by 2 touchdowns. That's what the fuck I'm saying. I don't have a problem with the win.
We're on track
I'm
to
glad
until
they
that
fucking
hope that
won.
fucking
I'm glad I
ball
was
in the end
wrong.
zone.
I'm glad they won. I'm glad they beat them. The problem is this. Me looking at what I've seen going forward, if they don't rectify the situation of them not being able to pressure the opposite team's quarterback, that's going to be an issue later on down the road. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying anything else but that. If they can't rush the passer, they will not go far in the playoffs. Period.
But the Jets
Thank
will
you.
with just Aaron
Fuck you.
Rodgers.
I'm out.
Anyways, let's preview Monday night. Because honest to God, this game has the makings to be one of those season-defining games for 2 teams. The Denver Broncos are headed to Buffalo to play the Bills. Buffalo's a 7.5-point favorite going into this one. The over-under in this game is a 47.5 points. We've already picked this. So the picks are as follows. Zolo took the Buffalo Bills. I took the Buffalo Bills.
Not Friday. You took Denver Friday.
No, I took Buffalo.
Oh, you did.
You high motherfucker, quote unquote. Bruce took the Denver Broncos and Uncle Sam took the Denver Broncos. So
That's right. I'm taking the Denver Broncos.
So, with that being said, I would love to hear reasons why you guys think that Denver will beat the 5-4 Buffalo Bills in this game.
I think that Denver will concentrate on running the football, which has absolutely killed Buffalo in their past games here recently, as of late, because their linebacker core is so decimated. So I'm going to say it's the running game of the Denver Broncos that will open up everything downfield for them.
Bruce?
I don't think Buffalo's D is going to have an answer, to be honest with you.
Although they're playing at home. I get that. Buffalo coming off the bye, right?
No.
Oh, shit.
Or no,
All
who's
right.
coming off the bye?
I might even.
Nobody.
Denver's coming off a bye.
Huh?
I believe Denver's coming off a bye.
I
Yeah.
just want to change my pick just because they're
Go
at
ahead.
home.
Go ahead, change it. I'm gonna
Can't
stick with
change
Denver.
it. It's already posted. So
I'm
you're
sticking
stuck.
with Denver.
You change yours.
I didn't ever change it. I make them.
Yeah, you
You want to
I
you want to
make 'em. I
make the
can
picks.
change 'em.
You
I
want to
can do
make
whatever
the
I
picks, then
want.
you change them.
Fine. Come on, Russ.
Denver's coming
Get
off.
Russ, baby.
Denver's coming off of the bye. Buffalo's defense is horribly banged up, and I think that this game's going to end up being a shootout. I'm hitting the
I
over
do
on
too.
this one big time. I don't think there's going to be. I think this is going to be very reminiscent of the Lions and Chargers game yesterday, and I think ultimately it's going to come down to the fucking line. You're not going to have any defense. Buffalo's defense is decimated with injury. Denver doesn't really have much of a defense to begin with. Denver gives up the most rushing yards to opposing teams. So if there is a week where the lackluster run game of Buffalo is going to thrive, it's this week.
But if they're behind, Allen's not going to pull it off.
Anyways, I don't think they're going to be behind. I think Buffalo gets out early. I think they put up a touchdown or two. I think Russ stays in lockstep with them. And ultimately, I think Buffalo finds a way to win this game by a touchdown. I would not take Buffalo minus 7.5, but I think that the Bills will come out on top in this, and it's going to be a 3 or a 7-point game. I'm not a believer in the Bills. I don't think the Bills are world beaters, but talent for talent here, I think Buffalo comes out on top. I expect big games for Stephon Diggs. I expect James Cook to have a nice coming out party, and I expect Josh Allen to do exactly what he needs to do to get this game won. At the same time, I like Russell Wilson in this game. I like Cortland Sutton, and I like Javonte Williams. I think there's going to be a ton of offense. I think it's going to be a great game to watch, but I think ultimately Buffalo has an edge to come out on top in this. If you're going to have the ball in Josh Allen's hands late, shockingly, and I know you guys might disagree with this, I trust Josh Allen with the ball in his hands late over Russell Wilson still, even though Russ has done good things this year. So I'm going Buffalo.
Well said. You have too much faith in Josh Allen.
Listen to me. I think the problem is right now,
You know, if he weren't such an asshole, I'd like him too, but
why is he an asshole?
he's just a dickhead. And he's a crybaby. The game in Detroit, get the fuck out of here.
Listen, you like the Chiefs, and there's no bigger pussy in the world than Patrick Mahomes.
You never see
Anyway,
Patrick Mahomes complaining like a little bitch.
you
Nobody
see him
cuter
complain
than
after
Pat
every play call.
Nobody's
After every
cuter than
flag he
Patty
bitches.
Mahomes.
Not like a bitch.
After every
He
play
can
he
complain,
bitches,
but every
and he sounds
quarterback
like Kermit the
complains.
Frog. Anyway,
Listen. Here's what's going to transpire here. If Leonard Fournette plays tonight,
I don't believe he's playing.
I don't think he's going to either. I know he was brought up. I don't know if they brought him up off the practice squad yet. I don't know. Is he active?
Fournette will be activated for tonight against the Bills.
Okay.
For the Bills. Against
He's my anytime touchdown scorer tonight is Leonard Fournette.
Yeah, and I mean that realistically, that to me, that's a huge.
Yeah.
If you can get a two-headed monster going against the worst run
Think if he
defense
can get a guy like Leonard Fournette
and
to
James
actually
Cook eating,
and kind of interchange those two,
Yeah.
That's
remember,
that's a nice two-headed monster
they
right
always reside back to Josh Allen taking the ball.
Yes.
All
So
right.
they even when they have a run game, they don't use their run game.
Here's the thing.
there. That's the problem.
This is for me. This is the difference in this game. Yes, Russ.
This will ultimately be the demise of Sean McDermott if he's unable to fucking get a decent run game and not put Josh Allen through the fucking pounding that he's been taking the last 4 years.
I think
This will be the ultimate test for that.
What Russ has done this year has been semi-impressive and cute, especially coming off of last year. But ultimately, are we having short-term memory loss with this Denver team to think that they're going to go into Buffalo and win? That's it. I know what Denver's doing is cute right now.
Hold on.
And I know Russ has had a statistically really nice year, but realistically, are they going to go into Buffalo and win that game?
Is
Could
Denver
be tough. That could be a tough game.
Is Denver better than the Patriots?
Yes, right now, yeah.
So they have more of a chance to win in Buffalo than Buffalo going into New England.
Okay, is Denver better than Kansas City?
No.
Okay, Denver
They went
beat
to
them
Kansas
2
City
weeks.
and beat
So,
Kansas City.
Exactly.
At the end of the day, that doesn't happen too many times a year.
We'll see what happens. It should be a good game.
I think it's gonna be a great
That's why
game.
we're going to fucking watch it, right?
Fuck yeah, we're gonna watch it. It's gonna be a great game. I'm
Patty
excited for
Mahomes
it.
is a saint. Okay.
And we're gonna come back on Wednesday, and
That's
we are
Christopher.
we're going to hear Zolo's 5 things about the Lions. We will recap the Monday night matchup between Buffalo and Denver. We will touch
There's
base.
going to be a new segment to the show. It's going to be Uncle Sam's one thing. One thing. that will be the new segment.
I'm sure everybody will be waiting with bells on for that one.
Anytime touchdown tonight, Leonard Fournette.
If he plays. If he doesn't play, who's our anytime
If he
touchdown?
plays.
If he doesn't play, who's our anytime touchdown?
What's that kid's name for Denver? McLaughlin. The running back, McLaughlin for Denver.
The backup?
Yes. The backup to Javonte Williams.
Jaleel McLaughlin.
Jaleel McLaughlin.
I'm going
I love
Stephon
that
Diggs.
kid. That kid is fire.
Yeah, last time I took your anytime touchdown, Stephon Diggs, it didn't hit.
It'll hit tonight. Stephon Diggs got to get a touchdown tonight.
Oh yeah. I mean, gee, that's reaching.
No,
Stephon
he
Diggs,
will
a
ultimately
touchdown.
tonight. Absolutely.
Anyway,
How about Stephon Diggs 2 touchdowns? How about that?
honestly,
Is that reaching?
wouldn't be shocked. That's not reaching. That's not a
Okay.
reach. Anything to add?
Go
Do you have anything
Broncos,
to add?
baby. Let's ride.
Do you have anything to add?
No, I don't.
Are you sure?
How you gonna put that hat on top of your boy like that?
That's my boy Dan Marino.
Exactly.
Dan Marino, greatest quarterback I ever played a game
Go Bucks.
by far. Dan Marino, OJ Simpson, the Juice, one of the greatest running backs of all time. Acquitted. Gloves don't fit.
Love didn't fit.
Can't acquit.
Anyways, thank you so much for listening to another episode of the Tip Balls Podcast. We'll be back on Wednesday when we get our Zolo back to fully recap the Lions.
Murderers Row.
To fully recap the Lions and talk about the Monday night matchup tonight. Make sure to follow our socials, Instagram and Twitter at Tip Balls, TikTok at Tip Balls Podcast.
Oh, fucking shout out to my man. What's his name? Trent. What's his name?
You forgot his name.
Trenton Irwin.
Trent Irwin. Derwin.
Thank you so
Irwin.
Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you
We'll be
for
back
listening.
Wednesday.
Trent.